Gio Woodley, the in-arena voice of the NBA G League's Osceola Magic. And you're listening to a presentation of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. It's almost time to drop the puck. Let's send it ringside for the Landers Auto Group pregame show with the voice of the Mudbugs, Zach Grant.
Home sweet home. We are home at last. For the first time in 48 days, the Mudbugs get some home cooking at George's Pond, and it just so happens to be the biggest game of the season thus far. Tonight, while the Bugs sit in 6th, that final playoff spot in the South, they welcome the Odessa Jackalopes, waiting just 2 points behind, hungry for a victory, seeing a prime chance to jump back into the postseason conversation. It's a battle of mythical land creatures and those that make their home in southern freshwater. It's game 1 of the Bugs and the Jackalopes. Hi again, everybody. Zach Grant, glad to have you join us once again as Mudbugs hockey hits the air from the friendly confines of the State Fairgrounds at Hirsch Coliseum. Duncan Welker will be joining us shortly, but for now, welcome into the Mudbugs warm-up show, as always driven by our friends at Landers Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. The Mudbugs, they come off a long 5-week road trip. Overall, the Bugs finished 4-6 on the trip, fresh off a weekend split with the Amarillo Wranglers. Friday with a stingy offensive showing for both teams, but Tyler Hodges earned his 3rd shutout victory of the season. Shots were just 26-19 in favor of the Wranglers, but the Bugs came away with that 3-0 victory at the backs of goals from Ryan Barrett, Willie Tremblay, and Liam Wolf-Talby. On Saturday, we saw a glitch in the matrix. 73 total shots on goal in that contest in favor of the Bugs, 39-34, but Amarillo got the last laugh in the shootout to hold off 2 Bugs comeback attempts and get the victory, but Shreveport got that important point going to the shootout, setting up their current 2-point advantage in the South Division standings. Odessa comes into the game. They sit in 7th place, again just 2 points back of the Bugs. The Jackalopes had been finding a footing, but are currently on a 5-game losing streak, including a 3-game sweep at the hands of the El Paso Rhinos and 2 losses to Corpus Christi. One of the shootout variety on Friday, and then that wild Saturday affair where the Ice Rays were up 5-2 with 12 minutes to go. Jackalope scored 3 unanswered down the stretch to tie it up before Corpus Christi delivered the final dagger at the 2:06 mark. The Jackalopes put 43 shots on the net in that one. That's a look back at the last games for both teams. We'll take a quick timeout. Still lots to get to on the warm-up show, driven by the Landers, before the Bugs and the Lopes square off at 7:11 p.m. tonight. Our conversation with head coach Jason Soupy Campbell is next on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills. They've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Already back here now, the Landers warm-up show. Back at home finally, Soupy, 48 days away. Now we get to see Mudbugs Nation at home. What's energy been like with the guys this week?
They seem pretty fired up to finally be back home. Obviously I was gone for the first couple days, but Smitty said the energy was good, and the guys were definitely giving it to me when I got back here, how well the energy was while I was gone. So so they had a couple good skates, since we've been back. So everybody seems excited to get rolling here at home again.
As we look at tonight, it's God and Goals Night presented by Word of God Ministries, and kind of reminder of things larger than hockey. Looking forward to a fun evening here. It's great to kind of put that in perspective heading down the home stretch here.
Yeah, Word of God Ministries does a lot of good work in our community, obviously, and beyond. Great outreach, and we've got plenty of churches and pastors and church members and that do great things, we're just grateful to be able to partner with Word of God Ministries and have them here tonight, and praise the Lord. We have a great night and end up with a big 2 points at the end.
Absolutely. Now Odessa comes in just 2 points back of the Bugs for that sixth and final playoff spot. Jackalopes had hit a stride, kind of been struggling lately, 5 straight losses, as they kind of get into kind of fight or flight mode here. Does that concern you at all coming into the game?
Well, I kind of feel like we're in the same shoes, they went into Lone Star 7 games ago, I guess, and swept them in their building. That's so hard to do, and then they kind of have taken a step back since then as far as winning games, but they've been in some games. They're right there knocking on the doorstep in some, and they just haven't found a way to get another big win, and they're going to be hungry, and we're in their way tonight, but they're also in our way. So I'm expecting a great Southern Division battle here for that last playoff spot, and for them to get out of a losing streak, and for us to get another one going.
Now, goaltending has been big all season. We've been talking about it. Now, Odessa, they had 38 shots Friday, 49 shots on Saturday. It's a lot of shots on net. How does that kind of affect the game plan to support the goaltender?
Well, we got to be good in front of them. We got to be responsible with the puck. We got to make sure we're not turning it over in the bad areas of the ice. They like to come with a lot of speed, so we're going to have to stay on top of them and get in their way and be physical and make sure we're not giving up these odd man opportunities, because that is kind of their bread and butter. They can turn and burn pretty good, and they put a lot of pucks at the net and get guys to the net. Their power play has been really good, this year, so we got to stay disciplined, stay out of the box. I think if we just got to stay disciplined, play a 5-on-5 game, and be heavy, be physical, and do our job as a connected unit, and hopefully we're able to shut them down and bury a few goals ourselves.
All right, lastly, before we let you go, as we look at the roster for the Bugs, who's been hot lately?
Oh boy!
I know there's a lot of choices on there.
I'm going with Duke. I just he was suspended for Friday night's game in Amarillo, and then he was able to come out and get a couple big goals for us Saturday night in the shootout loss. But he kind of started slow in the first period, but then he was right back to himself second and third, and he generated some really good offense for us, and I'm expecting him to stay hot here.
All right, thanks, Soupy. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Zach.
Take a quick time out. Back in a moment on the Mudbugs Warm-Up Show, driven by Landers.
Did you know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport? Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area, and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage, and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana!
Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Alexis Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, back here at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum. Zach Grant, Duncan Welker. And, you know, Duncan, as you look at it, it is so nice to finally say we're back home in front of Mudbugs Nation.
Oh, gosh, you took the words right out of my mouth, Zach. It's so good to be home. It's good to be home. It's good to be home, and more importantly, it's good to be home practicing. Because don't get me wrong, going home or coming back here and practicing and then going on the road, that's one thing. But staying here, practicing, and then going right into games here, nothing quite like it. But, Zach, I'm just excited, and personally, I'm also excited to get my home game routines, which I guess is no different than my road game routines. You know, a nice energy drink to start. I'm kidding, but no, Zach, it's just good to be home nonetheless. So,
absolutely. You know, you got a great big game tonight. Bugs are in that last playoff spot in 6, 2 games ahead of the Odessa Jackalopes. So, with that, I think it's a great time to take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard and the North American Hockey League South standings, because we're under 20 games to go, and every game is a playoff game at this point.
Oh, absolutely, Zach. And as we take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by our friends at the Shreveport Regional Airport, New Mexico and Amarillo have not started yet. Actually, a lot of games have not started. You know, we're so used to, you know, being the late game or being the game in between. It's so weird to have games start, you know, the same time we do. Well, maybe not the exact same time, but you get what I mean. But nonetheless, Lone Star in El Paso will start at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. The only game that is, at least that I see right here on NAHL.com, that is ongoing right now is Corpus Christi and I believe Oklahoma. Let's make sure we get that right. Yes, it is. And as we're here in the booth, joined by Mudbugs goaltending coach Rich Perron and Mudbugs alumni Richie Perron. So we'll talk to goaltending coach Rich Perron later in the first period intermission, Zach. But that's all we got for the out-of-town scoreboard. Standing-wise, like we mentioned, Mudbugs are sitting in 6th place with 45 points. Oklahoma right on top of them. Odessa just 2 points below both the Bugs and the Warriors. So we have to see where we go from there. So as one of the, in my opinion, one of the greatest videos in the North American Hockey League starts, the tribute video to George Cloutier rings out through George's Pond, the aproposly named George's Pond, Zach. I believe it's a good time to just think, reflect, but more importantly, let's get into our Morris and DeWitt Injury Lawyers Injury Report, brought to you by friends at Morris and DeWitt Injury Lawyers. On the injury front for the Bugs tonight, number 15, Jonah Jasser, still out with a upper body injury after taking a puck to the ear there last week. So he will be out. No return date is set quite yet. That's the only injury. Back from suspension is Jason Soupy Campbell behind the Bugs bench. So good for him there. And on the healthy scratch side of things, only 2 names, number 37, Jason Simons, and number 18, Gabriel Lopez Corsi, was on the healthy scratch side of things. But that is all for your Morris and DeWitt Injury Lawyers Injury Report, brought to you once again by our friends at Morris and DeWitt Injury Lawyers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your Whataburger starting lineups, brought to you by our friends at Whataburger. Whataburger, just like you like it. Firstly, for these Odessa Jackalopes, at the left wing, number 14, Bjorn Bonnerman, taking the center position and taking the opening faceoff, number 28, Chris Graves, and at the right wing, number 11, Brandon Catalano. At the left defense, number 3, Shea Berry. And at the right defense, number 24, Hunter Toms. And getting the start in net tonight for the Odessa Jackalopes is number 33, Ben Vatis. Nonetheless, the Odessa Jackalopes are led by head coach Scott Durr. Assistant coach is Marquise Cotton. And their goalie coach is Colin Nubb. Those are all for your Whataburger starting lineups for these Odessa Jackalopes. Now, We're going to let Robert J. Wright do his thing, but let's just go over this Mudbug lineup real quick. At the left wing, number 9, Ryan Barrett. At center, number 22, Charlie Birchfield. And speaking of which, Zach, Charlie Birchfield has had a really good adjustment to not only the South Division, but to Mudbugs hockey as a whole. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. It looks solid in his first couple of games.
Absolutely. And then moving on to the right wing, number 36, Joe Simango. Once again, last week he came off of the injury list, so good stuff there. And then at the left offense, number 17, Nandor Poloni from Good Hungary. And paired up with him, number 6, the Denver, Colorado native. His brother's actually in the building. We'll actually talk to him as part of our Graph Orthodontics, our Sonic Drive-In second period intermission show. But nonetheless, right defense, number 6, Remy Fusateri. And getting the start at net tonight, number 35, Ethan Phillips.
Absolutely, new look between the pipes for the Bugs. We'll take a quick time out here on the Landers warm-up show. On the other side, Robert J. Wright will introduce our starters, and we'll get to hockey on this Friday night as the Bugs return home to George's Pond in a huge series against the Odessa Jackalopes.
Congratulations! You kept a plant alive another day. You deserve a refreshing reward. Introducing new Whataburgers from Whataburger. You finally returned a text. Thumbs up emoji. You hung up a shirt. You changed a light bulb. You walked the dog around the whole block. Attaboy, it's treat time. The new prickly pear raspberry Whatafresher from Whataburger.
An icicle treat for every small feat. Whataburger.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
For the big, small, short, tall. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
Number 22, Charlie Birchfield. And forward from Havertown, Pennsylvania, number 36, Joseph Simango. Defense from Denver, Colorado, number 6, Remy Fusateri. Defense from Good Hungary, number 17, Nandor Poloni. And tonight, between the pipes, from Rochester, New York, in goal, number 35, Ethan Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, prior to this evening's national anthem, please stand for tonight's prayer. Please welcome to George's Pond, Word of God Ministries Youth and Young Adults Pastor, Mark Dunkley.
God is good all the time and all the time. Amen. All right, let's bow our heads. Father God, thank you for this day. Thank you for each and every person in this room. Thank you for this moment just to bring you glory. So Lord, I pray that's what we do tonight. Just make your name known. I pray that it's not about our background, it's not about our race, Lord, it's all about you, that we come unified just to speak your name, and that name is Jesus. So So Lord, I pray that your kingdom come, your will be done in the city of Shreveport. In Jesus' mighty name, we all say, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Time once again to show everyone in the North American Hockey League and beyond that we Bugs fans are without a doubt the most patriotic to be found. Please stand, remove your caps and hats, and join in the singing of this evening's national anthem. Please welcome tonight's special guests from Princeton Elementary, the Prince Tunes Honor Choir.
Festivities have concluded here at George's Pond, and that means for the first time in way too long, it is time for hockey out there on the sheet of ice at the Louisiana State Fairgrounds, and have the ceremonial puck drop as well. God and Goals Night presented by Word of God, and as we look to start this game, Duncan, what are your keys for tonight as we start in this ever-important game headed down to the playoff run?
Well, my keys to the game, Zach, are the keys to the game that Jason Soupy Campbell, both he and I talked about. Special teams, win the special teams battle. Power play, this Bugs power play, 25th in the league. A vast improvement from this power play that you saw, well, really when you first got here, Zach. Penalty kill, 6th in the league, but nonetheless, win the special teams battle. The second being, take away time and space. As we saw back last week, back as we saw last week in Amarillo, it seems like we couldn't take the time and space and the pace away from the Wranglers until the second and even into the third period, Zach. And the third one, puck responsibility. Can't keep turning over the pucks like that in easy areas. So that's just my keys to the game. That's also, well, the keys that Jason Soupy Campbell and I talked about earlier this afternoon, Zach.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned on that Friday win, the 3-0 win, the only time that things were kind of dicey for the Mudbugs was those couple of D-zone turnovers they had. So, got to protect the puck. Now we're back at home for the first time in too long, which means my favorite uniforms make an appearance. The purple tops are back, the retro, and I know the fans love them. And again, it's been way too long since we've gotten to see them. And Charlie Birchfield's down there at center ice. First time we get to see him in the purple and teal.
Absolutely, and he just looks natural in it. Not only are the boys wearing the purple jerseys with the teal claw, white shoulder caps, but if you look on the bench, Zach, my father, Billy T. Welker, jacket, purple, Hunter Robinson, purple jacket, and me up here in the booth, same jacket. But that's a discussion for another time, Zach, as we get ready to get puck drop underway. Charlie Birchfield, boys up to their feet. So signals being thrown all around. Zach, you know what this means? Only one thing. I'm excited. Let's get her going, brother.
For the first time in 48 days, the puck is down at George's Pond. It's game number 44 of the season, and we are underway as a quick offside whistle, not even 8 seconds in, and hopefully we don't continue that trend from Amarillo last weekend, but nonetheless, a neutral zone draw coming up with the Bugs moving left to right. They sit at 19, 17, 3 and 4 overall. That is good for that last playoff spot in 6, but Odessa right behind them, just 2 points back, so both these games this weekend are monumental as Poloni will skate it up for Ryan Barrett. In over the blue line, it comes for the first time. Immediately batted back out. Burchfield's got to tag up. He does so quickly, but it's eventually controlled by Shea Berry, the 6'2 defenseman for Odessa. Flipped up ahead. Icing is washed out. Goes up to the near side where Remy tries to backhand it through his legs. Now goes into the quarter for Poloni. Shoved off the puck. Remy picks it back up. We're just underway here. First period action on his Friday night. Dumped in from the center ice red line. Takes a weird off the Zamboni doors, off the side of the net. And now the Bugs will start to break out. Up the near side, it's a newcomer, Birchfield. Got to head over to KTBS with him during the week for Mudbugs Wednesday. Both had a lot of fun over there. Both first-timers as well, as Adams will send it far side. D-zone for the Bugs. Flipped up ahead, touched at the blue line by Hoagland. With all the way in towards the net. Picked up behind the cage by Thornton, 5'11 defenseman. He's got 12 points on a year in 40 games played for Odessa. Puck's in the near corner, flipped up the wall. Adams pinches to hold it in at the blue line, sends it to the top of the right circle. And Hoagland will fire one, goes off a man in front. Hoagland gets it back, rifles it back up to the blue line. Far point drive there, rebound goes through the crease. Odessa will flip it out, and a nice nifty move there around Adams. Get over the line left side is their leading scorer. Shoved off the puck by Adams. Mitchell Reed also there to help. It's Adams who controls for Grayson. At his own blue line, across the center red, will bank it high off the glass, wrapped around the boards. Far side it goes for Whitted. Centering feed right out in front. Owen Case gets the turnover at the blue line. Walked down the slot. Couldn't corral it cleanly enough for a shot, though. Played back out to center. Picked back up again by Jeremiah Roberts. He'll leave it off for Zach Wilson. Also the first time Zach Wilson gets to play at home as well. He joined the team so long ago, but he has not made his George's Pond debut, so a lot of first-timers out there. Wolf Talby takes a shove as he dumps the puck into the corner. Near side it comes, up the wall. Played by Matar. Out to center ice. It's controlled far side. Brought over the line now by Mullins. Mullins into the slot. A rebound comes near side, and Phillips up to the task to make the stop. He comes in. Solid record for him thus far in the year. 3-5-1, 299 goals against, 891 save percentage for him. Puck is turned over at center ice, brought in far side. In over the line is Kuskowski. His shot is deflected up into the netting, and our first Johnny Pizza house puck out of play. Draws a whistle with 17:29.
Good start so far. So in terms of shots on goal, nothing really recorded yet, but it's still a good pace-wise. Back and forth we've gone. So good pace so far from both these sides, from the Bugs and from the Jacks. But of course, that's just where I see things, Zach. And now Vinny Giulio will take the face off to the left-hand side of Ethan Phillips.
First period brought to you as always by our friends at Advanced Air Conditioning and Heating. Log on to advancedac.com. Back up to the blue line it comes. Odessa controls offensive end. Far side. Into the slot it goes. Rebound is pitchfork towards the net. Comes over near side. Backhanded into the corner by Whitted, their newcomer as well. Joined the team a few weeks ago. Odessa's got it far corner. A collision there. Remy will eventually track it down behind his own net. Works off to the near side. Feeds it up the wall for Tremblay. Willie had a good weekend in Amarillo. Got a goal for the first time in a while. His 4th of the season. Now back the other way. Giulio. Into the slot it comes. Griner got shoved off the puck as he sent one towards the net. And then Giulio skates through the crease. And a couple of Jackalope take exception as they tangle up here in 16:57. So a jackalope, as I learned last night, is a mythical land creature, as I mentioned in the pregame show. So unfortunately, a real-life battle isn't going to happen out there.
No, but mythical land creatures versus crawfish. You know what, honestly, I feel like the crawfish would actually take the upper hand. I know you think, okay, it's a little smaller creature. No, but I just think it's more of a win there for the crawfish. But
it depends where we fight. The jackalope has the advantage on land, but the crawfish, well, the jackalope's going to drown in the sea. So nonetheless, Bucks have an offensive end. Here's Gerhard in near the crease. That shot turned aside and held on to for a whistle. 16:44 left. Good pace early to this one.
Absolutely. Good pace, good pace. It can't be said enough. Good pace.
Bookkeepers on the go.
Odessa had hit a stride midway through the season. They're up as high as 4th place. They've lost 5 straight now, drop them in 7th. They're coming out here, and they're a team that can throw pucks on the net. 49 shots in their loss on Saturday. A crazy game as Earhart down the slot, rebound, comes out in front. John Burke got a piece of it. Couldn't stick it past the goaltender. Comes back far corner. Right in front again on the doorstep for Hoagland. Couldn't corral it. Here's Wilson. Toe drag in the corner. He fires one on net, and it stopped again for a whistle. 16-27 by their solid goaltender in his own right. Ben Vatisse, 2.95 goals against, 914 save percentage. And you got to put a lot of shots on net to score on him.
Oh yeah, of course now the shots on goal counter is 4-0 in favor of the Bugs, so you love to see that. So a lot of shots need to be thrown towards Vatisse's way, like you said, Zach.
One to the wall for Barrett, eventually stolen away by Henry Thornton. Then Barrett goes down trying to get it back. Semengo feeds it up the wall for Adams. Banked out to center ice by Odessa. The Jackalopes pick it up, trying to break across the center red line. They do. Far circle drive there. Phillips got a piece of it, kicks it over to the near wall. Flipped up the wall by Semengo for Barrett. Barrett in over the line. Comes Birchfield down the crease. He gets taken down into the goaltender. And Vatisse will hold on top of it for a whistle with exactly 16 minutes now. Everybody mixing it up there. Birchfield as well. Get in there. He kind of lost a tire going towards the net there and fell into the netminder. So everybody kind of gathered. The linesmen step in quickly, and that'll draw again a stoppage for 16 minutes.
Meeting of the minds, I believe is what you call it, Zach.
What we'll go with. We'll go with meeting of the minds. Meeting of the minds.
Love to see it. Love to see it. 16 minutes left. Like I sound like a broken record, but it's true. Just a good pace so far. Charlie Birchfield also able to try to get in there on Vatisse. That's good stuff from Charlie Birchfield, Zach.
Liam Wolf-Talby with the offensive zone face-off, but Odessa controls in their own end. Flipped up the wall, outlet pass. Up ahead and over the line, but eventually stolen away by Mitchell Reed. Banked down to center ice. Talk about Wolf-Talby. He had a goal against Amarillo. That's now a point in each of his last 3 weekends. So he's a guy that Odessa's going to want to shut down out there. It's brought in over the line by Jacobs. Toes the line, feeds it over to the far side. Broken up. Zakrisky steals it away up ahead for Roberts. Roberts with speed. Roberts had a good time last time in this building. A 6-point weekend against New Mexico. This is flipped up into the penalty box out of play for a whistle. It's 15-24. So, yeah, it's been that long since we've been at home, but Jeremiah Roberts again, 6-point week against New Mexico. That was big. Really, this offense is starting to heat up at this point in the year.
Now, that was an excellent weekend for Jeremiah Roberts, and really from the Bucks in general. And obviously, the lines have since changed since, back in literally the first few days of the new year. But you have to think Jeremiah Roberts wants to continue at least something, if nothing else, of that weekend. Hello.
Remy from the point there. That's blocker to side. Earhart sticks it into the corner. Eventually picked up by Shea Berry. Berry controls. D to D they go in their own end. Comes to the near circle. Flipped out to center ice. Remy providing some back-checking pressure on Matar. Goes all the way to Phillips in net. Behind the goal line. He'll leave it off. Flipped up the wall again near side. At the half wall. Played to the blue line. Gerhard trying to back it out. Can't whack at it. Remy eventually controls the puck. He tries to pitch it up the wall. Again stolen away. Maloney backhands up for Gerhard in open space. Gets a little bit of room and now flips it out to center. Up ahead, Earhart got knocked away from the puck at the blue line. Squirts into the far corner where it's picked up by Hunter Toms, the 6'4" defenseman. And this one goes up to the netting and out of play. Stops time with 14:39 left. Here in the opening frame. Good pace to this one early on. First period brought to you as always again by Advanced Air Conditioning and Heating, offering installations, repairs, and maintenance for homes and businesses in the area. Log on to advancedac.com. That's advancedac.com. Also like to remind you, the Fireplace Specialties, proud corporate partner of Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplaces, gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills. They've got it all. Located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport, or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties, your fireplace headquarters. Offensive zone draw for the Bugs, eventually controlled by Odessa, though. The Jackalopes flip it to center. Icing is washed out. All the way into the corner goes for Owen Case. Tried to leave it off for Wilson. Goes through his skates and eventually pitched into the corner by Richards. Now comes back far side at the half wall. Tied up at the right hash mark. Squirts free for Jared Griner from the circle. Griner sticks it into the middle for Giulio. He'll backhand it all the way down. Dump and chase. There we go. Almost 6 minutes into this one. Owen Case couldn't save it at the blue line. Back the other way, brought it over the line and lost by the Jackalopes. It eventually bounces free, though, for Thornton. Thornton towards the net. Knocked off the puck. Puck comes through the crease now, and the Bugs will tie it back below the goal line. Into the near wall it comes. Owen Case flips it over for Tremblay. Tremblay along the boards. Below the circle. Leaves it off behind his net for Owen Case, who will settle it down. Goes off to the left of Phillips. Hangs out at the far side circle. Now flips it well ahead to John Burnt into the corner for Birchfield. Shoved off the puck. Nice check there by Lemaire that time. Now played back up. Here come the Jackalopes in over the line. Far side at the circle. That's shot. Phillips got a piece of it. Flips it up over top the net. Into the slot it comes, right in front of him. John Burnt will stick it to the corner. Barrett collided there away from the play. Odessa hold on to it offensive end. Worked up to the wall. Flipped across far side for Catalano. Eventually turned over. Bugs get it at center. Here's Barrett. He'll dump it in from the blue line. Chase it into the corner with Lemaire that time again. Comes back far side. Flipped up the wall, Odessa to the blue line, but not out. Held in. Nice heads up play there by the Bugs to hold it in the offensive end. Here's Barrett. Far circle. Barrett had a good weekend as well. A couple of points for him. This one goes past Reed at center, and then he shoves the man off a puck trying to get to it. Could have been an interference call. Puck comes into the slot right in front of Phillips. Eventually turns aside. Reed below the goal line. D-to-D for Adams. Adams spun off the puck. Bounces back for Mitchell. Mitchell far side for Birchfield, who sends it around the kick plate. Comes up the near wall at the hash marks. Gathered by Reed. He'll flip it off the top of the boards over Roberts' head. They'll gain the zone onside as Wolf Talby won the foot race to it. Delivers a check in the corner. Roberts tries to stick it to the middle. It comes back to the cage again. Picked up by Odessa. Change of direction behind the net. Shea Berry starts it out. Giveaway right out in front. Wolf Talby fires one that gets tipped by the netminder up into the netting and out of play for a whistle. And Duncan, we're almost halfway through this first period already.
Oh, we are. But, man, that shot from Liam Wolf Talby. God, you know he wants that one back. It was a perfect pitch, perfect opportunity right in front of Ben Von Zies, and it just gets deflected up into the net. An unfortunate part of hockey, netting, I should say, but man, you know he wants that one back, Zach.
Yeah, 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 total points for Liam Wolf Talby. Again, a point in each of his last 3 weekends. A goal against Amarillo, a goal against Lone Star, and an assist at New Mexico. So he had a pretty nice road trip for the Bugs, and all the Bugs did as well. They started off 0-3 and then eventually climbed back to 4-6 on the trip. A couple, including those couple of big wins against Lone Star. This one comes offside at center ice. Stops time with 11:52.
Shots on goals right now, Zach, with 11:52, and looks like, I believe I heard a media timeout whistle. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely. We'll take a quick timeout. 11:52 to go. We're scoreless here in the first period in Shreveport.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
Mudbugs Hockey is always brought to us by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. This is how we Sonic. Face-off controlled by Odessa. Out of their own end, flipped up the wall, and it comes. Into the corner foot race. Evan Hoagland wins it, wraps it around the boards. Got to talk to him after his top prospects. And man, he had a heck of a tournament.
He did.
2 goals, the first goal of the tournament, and then, of course, a shootout winner as well. After a 3-point weekend for the Bugs in Amarillo. So he's been on fire lately as Remy will stick it in from the blue line. Gets a shot on net out of it. Puck deflects all the way up the wall, and a big drive on a rebound by Gerhard. It's been a while since we've mentioned his name on the scorecard, but he had a great time at Top Prospects as well. He gets that shot on goal there and gets robbed with 11-17.
He did. Grayson Gerhard had a great weekend at Top Prospects there in Michigan. Had an assist in one of the earlier games. Of course, all the Bugs had a pretty good weekend at Top Prospects. Of course, as we mentioned, Evan Hoagland went in the place of Jonah Jasser, so you have to think that was pretty sweet for Evan Hoagland. But nonetheless, Zach, 11-17, face off to the right-hand side of Vatisse.
Yeah, we had him on our coaches show, our first ever coaches show earlier this week. This one flipped up near the benches. The linesmen say play on, so we do, as it's controlled back. Thrown in by Wolf Talby. Flips it up the wall, or tried to. Odessa blocked in at the blue line. Eventually now it's a turnover the other way. Sakrisky down the right wing. Sakrisky leaves it off for Wolf Talby. Fires one. That's kicked aside. Picked back up by Odessa. The Jackalopes on a three-man rush. Back the other way, far side, down to the bottom of the right circle. That shot. It goes off the post, flipped up in the air off the top of the glass. Stays in place. Sakrisky will corral the loose puck below the goal line. Changes direction off to his left. Flipped up the wall for Adams. Adams wraps it back around the kick plate, and Wolf Talby's going to wait for it with no pressure. Liam whacks at it towards the blue line, gets it out to center. It's eventually controlled back at their own blue line. Kuskowski gives it far side. Almost brought in over the line, but a turnover as Roberts will get it and throw it into the offensive zone. Eventually picked back up by Whitted behind the net, flipped up the near wall. Back across far side, out to center ice, stick down over the logo by Bateman. He gets a shot towards the net, but it's picked up by the Bugs defensive end, flipped back out to center. Griner spun off the puck at his own blue line. Odessa rifled it in, goes off of the referee. Catalano now will flip it into the zone. Into the corner goes for John Burnt, far side. Has a little bit of trouble corralling it. Now feeds it up the wall for Griner. And then through a body check, was able to throw it to the middle for Diulio. What a play there at the blue line. Bugs get it out to center. Tremblay tries to whack at a loose puck. Eventually comes for Shea Berry. And now it's turned over again. Bugs in over the line. Griner, far side, at the circle. His shot is turned aside. Tremblay was coming down the slot, but couldn't get the rebound. Flipped up ahead by Jacobs. Back it over the line comes Odessa. Jackalope looking for a play. Intercepted by Willie Tremblay. Tremblay's all alone with two defensemen in front of him. Willie hesitates at the red line. Will dump it in, go off for a change. Gets a shot on net out of it. Below the goal line, it's played by Odessa. They'll settle it down behind their net. 9:17 left. Opening frame, no score. Giveaway at the blue line. Birchfield turns and fires one. Into the corner goes for Baird. Baird shoved off the puck by Hunter Toms. Flipped up the wall again it comes. At the far circle, back to the blue line. Owen Case was coming out to play defense, so they're going to have to tag up back to center. Baloney picks it up in front of the Bugs bench, far side. Tries to feed it ahead. Stolen away. Gotten right back, though. Pitched in by Birchfield. Into the corner it goes. Behind the cage. Toms picks it back up. Comes up the far side wall, having her harassing back check from Birchfield, throwing the body around. Love seeing him. Here's a giveaway right out in front down to Samango, but he couldn't turn to corral it cleanly, so it goes over to the far wall. Odessa will stave off that attempt. They'll start it out to center with 8.5 to go. They enter the zone, left side. Shoved off the puck is Perselli that time. Tied up along the wall there, four-car pile up. As they whack at the puck with 8:25 left in the opening frame. Scorch free behind the cage. Ryan Baird tracks it down. Changes direction. Again, he had a big weekend in Amarillo. Well, he started off that Bugs scoring attack on Friday. That one's turned aside. Back out to center ice it comes. All the way down where Henry Thornton picks it up at his own blue line. Bugs are on a change. Percelli into the zone, into the slot. Now comes near side. Wide of the reach of Batar. He'll corral it again below the goal line. Batar, top of the circle. Man off the bench, coming down the slot. A rebound comes out in front. What a stop by Phillips. And now back the other way quickly. Here's Earhart. Down the slot, feeds off to the left, into the corner, Gerhardt. Takes a check, gets it back for Duke. Duke centering feed there, turned aside, back to the blue line for Pusateri. One-time drive, rebound, Gerhardt streaking down the slot, got a piece of it. But again, it stopped for a whistle with 7:41. But we talked in the pregame, Duncan, about Odessa's barrage of shots, and so far it's been the Bugs who've been throwing the puck at the net.
Absolutely, 10-3 in favor of the Bugs. And like we mentioned, Zach, one of the keys of the game, puck responsibility. The puck responsibility so far has been good for this Bugs team, but we've seen in these past, or really we've seen on the road, that the puck responsibility one period might be better than another. But the main thing that Jason Soupy Campbell relayed to me on was consistent puck responsibility.
So now Sakrisky gets started out of the draw, and to take it now will be Liam Wolf Talby. Offensive zone, right side of the zone. One back to the wall for Pusateri. Down to the bottom of the circle. Fed one towards the net. That got hit off the linesman, Brad Sotak, in the corner. It helps the Bugs as Sakrisky gets a chance right out in front. Fires it. Nice stop that time and flipped up ahead, icing potentially, and it will be. And with 7:26 left. Not something we get to say very often, but there's our first icing call of the game.
Of course, and as always, Zach, all icings this season are brought to you by our friends at Louder's Baking Company. Once again, that's Louder's Baking Company, one of the newest corporate partners of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. As Robert J. Wright repeats what I just said. No, I'm kidding. No, but nonetheless, Zach, 7:26. Good pace game so far as Vinny Giulio takes the face-off. Get her going.
Well, we'll take credit for that one. We'll say Robert J. Wright was copying us. He heard us, and it's like, I'm going to say that now. Odessa flips up the wall near side, trying to clear the zone. Unable to do so as it's held in by Giulio, wrapped around the boards. Vinny's really come into his own as well. Last couple of weeks, played out to the blue line. Eventually controlled, given away, right out in front. Griner down Main Street, fires one, and Vatis another great stop at net to keep us scoreless with 7:06 to go.
Good stop there from Vatis, but more importantly, Jared Griner just with an excellent turnover creation that led right down Uri Drive and tried to get it right on Vatis, but nothing doing there. But man, great stuff there from Jared Griner. Father in the building tonight, by the way. I haven't got a chance to talk to him face to face. I've talked to him over social media. Good dude, but nonetheless so, Zach.
Griner also had an assist against the Wranglers in the Bugs win. To the blue line, offensive end. Reed gives it away. Backed it away comes Odessa. Bugs trying to get back on defense, and they do so very well as Catalano couldn't win the foot race towards the net. Goes behind the cage, wrapped around near side. Bottom of the left circle. It's controlled by Chris Graves. They're 5'10 forward. Wrapped around the kick plate again. Comes up far side for Toms. Toms at the circle. That shot blasted wide. Comes back near side again. Right in front. Birchfield almost blew a tire that time. He has the wherewithal to flip it out of the zone back to center. Actually tracked down right over the Mudbugs logo at center ice. Brought in over the line. Catalano left side. Catalano fires one. Phillips moves off to his right to make the stop. Just stepped in front of it. Let him hit it. And now Birchfield gives it away at the blue line again. And he fights back for it. Semengo picks it up far side. Semengo for the red line. Dumps it in. Goes off for a change. Vatis back of his net to play it with 6:14. Back and forth they go. Odessa gives it away right out in the crease. It's Baird. Rebound comes out in the slot. Now Hoagland turns and fires one at point-blank range. At wide of the net. Poloni off the bench. Shifts it into the corner. Takes a check. And Odessa gets the puck back to their own blue line. And they'll clear it out. Backhanded up ahead. Icing's going to be waved off as the foot race is won that time by Jeremy Jacobs. Jacobs up the wall. Owen K steals it away. Bucks settle it back below the goal line. Up ahead on an outlet pass for Gerhardt. Tried to cherry pick that one, but it goes all the way down. Vatis will rifle it around. Given away by Hoagland. He fired one for the right hash mark. That's turned aside. Gerhardt, centering feed, comes back up top for John Burt in the slot. That shot redirected in front. Comes near side for Hoagland. Centering feed again. That one through the crease, but Jacobs will turn it aside for Odessa. They'll flip it up ahead. And icing again going to be washed out. Into the corner it goes. Back of the cage, centering feed right in the slot. Picked back up by the Bugs. Earhart rifles it ahead. This is going to be an icing whistle. Close foot race there, but Gerhardt was half a step behind Mullins. That'll draw the stoppage with 5:15.
Yeah, just one of those unfortunate things, but no, Grayson Gerhardt. Let's take a look at Mr. Gerhardt from Allen, Texas. 6'3", 205, but plays like a man half his size. Speeding down the ice. Just, man, you love to see that in a big forward like Grayson Gerhardt, able to speed on down, win foot races, but nonetheless, Zach, good stuff from Grayson Gerhardt, just not there.
To the blue line, that shot turned aside right out in front. Don't know if Phillips saw that one, got a piece of it though. Comes back up to the blue line. Down to the bottom of the right circle. Odessa attacking, firing one again, and that's how they get 49 shots on goal. They get the puck in the offensive zone and they start firing shots away. Comes back out to center. Gerhardt was going off for a change. Would have been great had he been staying out there. Nonetheless, at the blue line, Burt got a piece of it. Eventually picked back up by Odessa. They'll play catch in their own zone. Comes near side up the wall. Matar to the blue line. Brought in onside. And no, they'll say offside now. So everybody will have to tag up for Odessa. Owen Case picks it up. He'll settle it back down. Talking with Cheryl Sims at our coaches show. We'll talk to her in the second intermission tonight. And she says that she believes Owen Case is the most improved player on the Bugs this season.
Oh, absolutely. Owen Case is just, you can definitely tell there's a sense of improvement. Hello. Liam Wolf-Talby would go down there, but you know, you can definitely tell Owen Case has had an improvement from when we first met him back in even August at camp to now. Just an improvement there from Owen Case.
4 minutes to go in the opening period. We're scoreless. Couple of big shots for either team, couple of scoring chances for either team, but so far the goaltenders have been up to the task thus far. Played below the goal line by Odessa, flipped out of the zone to center ice. Actually picked back up by Adams. Rifles it in for Griner, who takes a shove at the blue line, raising out the puck. Odessa corrals it again behind her own net, worked off to the far side at their own blue line. No backhanded up ahead. Vinny tracks it down in his own blue line, feeds it to the middle. Adams to Roberts, going off for a change. Nobody was home. Picked up by Tremblay, who takes a big hit right at center ice. They got run into that time by 5'10", 170 Chris Graves of Odessa's. He was going off for a change. Back the other way. Adams into the zone. Behind the cage, it's picked up. Matisse off the top of the glass. Rifles around the boards. Giveaway right out in front. Tremblay back up to his feet. Fed one to the middle. Great chance for the Bugs there, but it goes just wide. It's going to come all the way back down, and a scoring chance becomes an icing whistle and another offensive zone draw.
Yep, another icing. And as always, all icing receipts are brought to my friends at Lowder's Baking Company. That's Lowder's Baking Company. But you're right, Zach. These goaltenders are standing up to the task. Shots 15-6 in favor of the Bugs. So, of course, Ethan Phillips is doing his job, 6 of 6. So is Ben Vautiste, 15 of 15 so far, 3 of 7. I get a feeling a lot of shots are going to be thrown both towards Vautiste and Phillips.
Yeah, this is looking a lot like that Saturday game at Amarillo. Not like the Friday game. I don't know what that collection of 60 minutes was there. It was
something.
It was just not what we're accustomed to seeing in the Dirty South. There's a shot through the crease. Bear was waiting on a doorstep. Just couldn't get it cleanly. Now Semengo flips one through the slot. Comes back far side to center ice. Bugs force a turnover. Back in their own end. Got it far circle. Poloni flips it out. Did not play last weekend at Amarillo. And back out there in the lineup tonight. Back the other way. Brought in by Odessa. Looking for a shot. Bottom of the circle. That one's turned aside. Bear picks it back up. And he'll start to break out. Bugs at center. Taken away. Man get knocked down right there. But John Burt will get the puck into the zone. Burt down the slot. His wrister is turned aside. Comes far wall. Picked up by Whitted that time. Below the goal line. Wrapped off the puck. Somebody lost a stick down there. Now Ryan Burt will tie him up there. Or Ryan Barrett rather. Now centering feet. Goes right out in front for Hoagland. That's turned aside. Owen Case picks it back up. At the near half wall. Knocked off the puck though. Odessa flips it to center. Minute 55 to go opening frame. Barrett gets a touch ahead and goes off for a change. Corralled rather below the goal line for Odessa. The Jackalopes have it. Up the near wall. Flipped up ahead off the very top of the glass. Somehow stayed in play. Up ahead it comes in over the blue line. Gerhard tried to get it to the middle. Hoagland forces the turnover. Now an odd man rush back the other way. Breakaway for Earhart. His forehand shot is stopped. A great chance for the Bucks off the giveaway, and another great stop. Stops the clock with 92 seconds to go.
Again, Zach, it's that puck responsibility we're talking about. Just constant puck responsibility. Good constant puck responsibility. I should add, I mean, obviously that's kind of a given, but you get what I mean. But no, Duke Earhart, good stuff there from Duke Earhart.
Yeah, Gerhard and Earhart out there together.
Oh, yeah.
That's always fun.
Yep.
Far side it comes. And they're such different players, too, which makes it even more fun to watch as Roberts will rifle it in from the blue line, takes a weird hop and skips up in the air. But it comes back far side. Odessa plays it. Minute 15 to go opening frame. Dumped into the zone. Foot race into the corner. Owen Case is going to be shoved, but he got the puck anyway. Off the wall for Roberts. Roberts to center ice for Wolf Talby. He's got open space. Tries to deke around the defender. Lost the puck. Got it back in the corner. Flips it off the top of the glass. Wilson rifles it into the corner. Final minute of period number 1 here. Scoreless game in Shreveport. Odessa starts it up on the attack and dumped in. And it's got some tired legs out there. As it's barely brought into the corner by Percelli. Flipped up the wall again. Eventually controlled by the Bucks. Wrapped around the boards for Adams. He leaves it off for Zach Wilson. Wilson back for Adams in front of the net. Starts to break out. 37 seconds to go. Bucks are on a change, waiting to get the numbers out there. Turned over at the blue line. Dumped in by Percelli. Into the corner it goes. Picked up by Roberts. He tried to back off of it and deliver the check. Adams gets a loose puck. Flips it off the boards. Goes off of the referee. Given away right out in front. Right circle. Eventually controlled by the Bucks DN. 20 seconds to go. Pitchforked up the wall. Roberts backhands it out to center, and it's touched up. That'll be an offside whistle with 12 seconds to go. Neutral zone face-off here, and I know we say this every late period face-off, but it's true. Win the face-off. and take us to the intermission, tied at nothing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good decision, but now face-off's going to go down into the neutral zone. We'll see where we lay.
Tremblay in a good battle here along the near edge of the circle. DiUlio wins the face-off. Bugs will tie it up. Vinny gets it back, flips it in from the blue line, gets a shot on net out, a goaltender out of his net to play it, wraps it around the boards. 2 seconds to go, out to the blue line, going to be picked up by Odessa. They'll start the rush, but Percelli sent one towards the net and going out to kind of skate and supervise as Mitchell Reed, as that will bring us to the end of the opening 20 minutes. And also getting tied up there is Kuskowski, but the linesman again quick to step in. Teams will go their separate ways. Opening 20 minutes, no score. Chances for both teams, though. And you love the offensive effort. Shots on goal for the Bugs.
Absolutely, 17-6 in favor of the Bugs, so it's a good shooting pace game. Now the biggest thing is you just got to get that shooting pace to lead to goals. But we'll see when we come back. And speaking of when we come back, we'll talk to Mudbugs goaltending coach Rich Perrant. Of course, I've talked to him 2 times this season when he's in town. It's always a fun time to talk to him, but it's just fun to talk to him because not only is he a longtime journeyman of this game, he's had many stories to tell, and I think he's going to tell a little bit more when we come back, Zach.
Absolutely. Opening 20 minutes in the books. We're scoreless. Bugs back at home for the first time since January 3rd, and they're looking energized in front of the Mudbugs Nation. Back in a moment on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantlets, and grills. They've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Welcome back inside George's Pond here at Hershey Coliseum. Scoreless game, Mudbugs and Jackalopes. Of course, in this first period, intermission is brought to you by friends at the North Caddo Express Lube in Vivian, offering oil changes, inspection stickers, transmission services, and vehicle, as well as keep fob batteries. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25 and get 10% off your order. Once again, that's MUDBUGS25 to get 10% off your order. Call them at 318-375-5823 for more information. And as I mentioned, when we came back from the end of the first period, joining me now, Mudbugs goaltending coach Rich Perrant. Coach Perrant, welcome in live.
Yeah, hey, how you doing, Doug?
Doing all right, Coach. So, firstly, thoughts on the period as we lay here. Of course, scoreless game. Shots are 17-6 in favor of the Bugs. So it's really a goaltender's game. That's why I wanted to have you on, because I had the feeling it was going to be a goaltender's game. But thoughts on the period so far?
Well, I mean, I think we came out really strong here. Like we haven't played at home in a while, and in front of the home crowd. And I felt like the guys were firing on all cylinders. We got a lot of shots on net, but this goalie's good, so we're going to have to get a little more traffic, a little more tips, a little more bearing down on rebounds if we're going to be successful tonight. But if we just keep firing it at the net, we should be in good shape. And in our end, Phillips has a couple of big saves and was solid for us.
Absolutely, and I was actually going to mention, or rather bring up to you, give us your insight on both of these goalies. Of course, Ethan Phillips came to us a little later in the season. So what's the word on Ethan Phillips? Of course, I think I asked you that the last time you were here. But
yeah, that's all right.
But since then, how's Ethan been doing?
You know, I think he's gotten an opportunity. Going to shutout. Getting a shutout in Lone Star on a couple of weeks ago is not an easy feat.
It is not.
They're a good team, and he was composed, and I think he had a 36-shot shutout, and I think that gave him the confidence that he needed. And he played the following night, and we came up short as a team. I don't think it was really Phillips' fault on the Saturday night, but he's a good kid. He's an 07. He's got a lot of potential. When he's on, and we just need to get him rolling.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know the junior hockey lingo, an 07 would be an equivalent to sophomore or junior in high school, college.
Well, he's got 2 more years, right? So it'd be a sophomore.
Yeah. My brain's not good. I've taken a lot of hits today. No, I'm kidding. But Coach Perrant, one of the main things I love talking to you about is your stories. You've had a long, let's put it like that, career, both as a goaltending coach as well as a goalie. Of course, I've mentioned many times IHL, NHL experience with the Penguins. But, I want to ask, give me a story. Give me a story, Rich Perrant. What you got?
Give you a story. Well, this can go into a lot of...
PG
story. No, it's... I'll give you a good Penguin story.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little more family-oriented one, and it was I got to play with some great players there, and being Mario Lemieux, so that year he retired for 3 years, came back, and he was the owner of the team.
Yep.
So that was a different dynamic, that your teammates actually the guys signing your paychecks. So that was weird, but the cool story, my daughter was born, I think, December 13th, and his comeback game was, I believe, December 27th. So I had all my family in town for the birth of my daughter, and they stayed for Christmas. So his comeback game, I had my parents, I had my in-laws, I had my brother and his girlfriend at the time, and I only get 2 tickets.
Oh.
And Lemieux hasn't played in 3 years, comeback game, and good luck getting tickets. So I ended up going to the box, to the head office, and I asked for tickets, and they pretty much laughed in my face. I mean, guys were getting cars for these tickets. So I only had 2 tickets. So a couple days go by, Mario Lemieux comes to me. He's like, hey, I heard you need tickets for your family. It wasn't to benefit myself. It was really for my family.
Right.
And a class act that Mario is, and probably one of the greatest guys in hockey, off the ice as well as on the ice, came to me and said, hey, I got my private box. Have your family come to my private box. And my parents was awesome. So his parents were there, and they're from Quebec as well. Yeah. So they were speaking French, and it was a great. You don't hear some of those things off the ice, and Mario being a superstar that he was and is.
Oh yeah.
And I was just a backup goalie at the time, and he took care of me, and I think that's just a great story.
That's absolutely a good story. Of course, his comeback game was on December 27th, 2000. Of course, it was against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. So I got the date right.
Yes, you did.
Wow.
No, but
I was there.
No, 5-0 victory. Of course, Mario had 1 goal, 2 assists.
And he got an assist on his first shift.
That's
after
right.
3 years.
That's right, he did. Of course, 3 years away. No, but you're right. I can't even begin to imagine. He plays, and then he's the guy that signs your paychecks. That's just. I mean, I'm not saying it's not something unheard of, because obviously now it's been heard of, but
yeah.
No, but.
And it was funny too, because me being the backup goalie at the time, when he was practicing and wasn't playing yet, I would stay on the ice with him every day for like after practice, and he'd be like, "Hey, Rich, you mind staying out?" I'm like, "Hey, you sign my paychecks. I'll be here as long as you want." And it was so great because Jaromir Jagr would be on the ice with him, so I'd have those two guys shooting on me after practice, and I couldn't lose, right? Because if they scored on me, you're like, you should be. And when I'm stopping them, I'm like, hey, I stopped Mario and Jagr. So I was in a win-win situation.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. I'm not gonna lie. I think that story just brightened up my day a little bit as we come into the, final game of the gold medal round of the Olympics. U.S. and Canada once again. The old story. I'm not gonna lie. The Canada game, it was way more exciting than the U.S. game. Now I say that as somebody as a native of the United States, granted with Canadian roots.
Yeah.
But the Canadian game was just a lot more exciting.
I think, in the Team Canada game, I know, they were ranked first, but I felt like Finland was way better than Slovakia. If you looked at the lineup of Finland, it was pretty much all NHLers top to bottom, and then Slovakia, they had a mix. And, just the difference of UC Saros, Nashville Predators goalie for Finland, played unbelievable today. And Slovakia he had an NHL goalie, but it was a backup goalie in the NHL. And UC Saros has, been a top goalie for a few years now. So I think that was a difference, but we're going to have some game Sunday morning.
Oh, it's going to be great. And there are a lot of people that say, oh, the NHL and NBC and all these people should get it moved up. And I'm like, I love a good morning hockey game before, I go to church or go to get the day started. I love a good morning hockey game. No, but nonetheless, Coach Perron, as we continue on here on the North Gatwick Presley First Intermission Show, I got one last question for you, and I'm going to let you get headed back on down.
Yeah.
So, out of every goalie you've ever played against, and again, I repeat myself on these questions. Maybe I haven't on this one. Out of every goalie you've played against that you can think of, because, you've played against a lot of goalies, but out of every goalie that you can think of that comes to your head, which one has been your favorite played against?
Well, that's so obviously me being from Quebec, Canada, my childhood idol was Patrick Roy.
Yeah.
I was 12, 13-year-old Montreal kid, and he's coming in, wins the Stanley Cup for the Montreal Canadiens in '86, and it was a special moment, so I was always a big Patrick Roy fan. So story time again. So I'm playing for St. Louis. Grant Fuhr's my partner. We're playing in Colorado, and I have never been in a game in NHL yet. So I just got called up, and my first presence in a game. So we're playing Patrick Roy. So Grant Fuhr gets pulled, and then I go into the game and I look across, and it's Patrick Roy at the other end, and I'm like, I'm trying to stretch. And I'm going to divulge something well, first of all, it was my first NHL presence in a game. So that's a childhood dream to start off with.
Oh, yeah.
Then Patrick was in the other end. I'm getting a little choked up here in the other end. So thank God the referee gave me a few minutes to get stretched because I had to get my emotions wrapped around myself. So, and I played Marty Brodeur, and a funny story, and I tell Marty all the time, I think I was undefeated against Marty Brodeur. He's the most winningest goalie, and I was undefeated. I think I was 2-0-2 against him. So I used to make jokes with him, saying, "Hey, there's not too many goalies can say they're undefeated against you." And I said, "I am." And he's like, "How many games? 4. I don't care."
Oh, you love to hear that. You love to hear that. So, Coach Rich, thank you once again for joining us here on the North Gatwick Presley First Intermission Show. What's your prediction for the next period?
Well, I think if we get a little bit more traffic, I think once we burst his bubble a little bit, 17 shots, he's kind of feeling it right now. If we can get that goal, get the crowd behind it, get that momentum, I think we can pot 3 or 4 against them.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, Coach Rich, 48 days we have not played a home game before tonight here at Georgia Sponsor at Hirsch Coliseum. So you get the feeling these fans want to see a goal. They want to throw the Mudbugs on the ice.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, 1 goal's nice, 2 goals nice, 3 goals nice, 4 goals are nice, but That fifth goal that gets you a nice free Route 44. Again, that's a huge if, but
hey, Duncan, do we get that too?
well,
I don't know.
I'll have to check it now.
Yeah, we'll have to check in because now I'll be rooting now.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
I hope we score way more.
Oh, 100% Coach Rich. But once again, thank you for joining us here on the
thanks,
North Caddo
Duncan.
Express Loop, of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more here on this North Caddo Express Lube First Intermission Show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Broadcast Network.
Did you know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport? Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Alexis Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, back here at the North Caddo Express Loop first intermission show. After a scoreless opening 20 minutes, not quite the game we expected with the two high-powered offenses, but it's the one we got. Before we get you set for the third period, or second period rather. Wow, I already fast forward. We're going to the third already. Look at that. That's how you get a game over quick. Nonetheless, let's take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard.
Of course, thanks, Zach. Now time for your Shreveport Regional Airport first intermission scoreboard update. Once again, brought to you by our lovely friends at the Shreveport Regional Airport. Moving into the South Division, Corpus and Oklahoma tied 1-1. Mudbug fans are going to have to look out for that game as there are some playoff spot implications between the Ice Rays and the Warriors. They're in the second period right now, just actually starting second period. Ice Rays got a goal from Colin Watson and the Warriors from Bronson Sable. Warriors scored first. Ice Rays scored second. Moving along, Ice Wolves and Wranglers. Stanley Hubbard, Ty Azadi, 1-1 is your scoring between the Ice Wolves and the Wranglers. And one other game on the South Division docket. Lone Star and El Paso starts actually here in just a little bit. Of course, it's 7 p.m. Mountain Time, as it is there at the El Paso County Event Center. Of course, here in Shreveport at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum. Scoreless game between the Bugs and the Jackalopes. Moving on into the rest of the North American Hockey League. Some select scores from it. St. Cloud 2, Austin nothing as we go into the second period. Philadelphia, the Rebels 4, Danbury 2. Northeast 2, Johnstown, the Tomahawks 1, third period there. And moving along here, New Hampshire, the Mountain Kings 2, New Jersey Titans nothing. So, moving into Aberdeen and Minnesota, the Mallards. Aberdeen has a lead 3-0 on the Minnesota Mallards. Watertown 1, Minot Montoros nothing. So, those are some select scores from the rest of the North American Hockey League. Let's take a look at some scores from the world in sports. And as I mentioned with Mudbug Tool Center coach Rich Perrant, Olympics are just winding down Sunday. Gold medal game, Team USA taking on Team Canada. Well, let's tell you how we got there. Team USA defeats Slovakia 6-2 in a game that, well, like I said, not as exciting as Team Canada's 3-2 win over Finland. Finland was up 2-0 before, 2-0 before the barrage of goals started from Team Canada. And the last goal, Nathan McKinnon, 36 seconds, put it right past Houston Saros to make it 3-2. That's his fourth goal of the tournament. Of course, the other goals were Shea Theodore and Sam Reinhart for Team Canada. And then, of course, for Finland, Haula from the Nashville Predators, Eric Haula. And then also for the Finns, Mikko Rantanen from the Dallas Stars. So those are the Olympic hockey scores. Now let's move into the NBA. They're just getting back underway after their all-star game. Cavaliers 100, Hornets 95, Wizards 106, Pacers 102, Grizzlies 110, Jazz 97, Heat 76, Hawks 65. Thunder, Oklahoma City that is, 38, Brooklyn 28, Milwaukee 71, New Orleans the Pelicans 65, Minnesota the Timberwolves 69, nice, and the Dallas Mavericks 57. Some games still on the NBA docket to go. The Denver Nuggets taking on the Portland Trail Blazers, and the Los Angeles Clippers taking on the Los Angeles Lakers in a battle of LA supremacy. Well, not full LA. I'm not going to get into regional conflicts between the Clippers and Lakers. College basketball, got a little excited there as we come back here. Just one score of no Miami of Ohio, still undefeated, 26-21 so far over Bowling Green State. As we come back now, Bugs coming onto the ice, Jackalopes as well. Referees are onto the ice first. Bugs now onto the ice. Zach, second period. You ready to go?
All right, back here, second 20 minutes. No score after the first shots. 17-6 in favor of the Bugs in that opening period there. Back at home for the first time in a very long time, and a great effort in front of the home fans. If you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or private outing, George's Pond's got you covered. Call 318-636-7094 to book your event today. If you love going to George's Pond for Mudbugs hockey, you'll love going to George's Pond for your own event as well. And in the middle frame here tonight, brought to you as always by our friends at DeFata and Associates, Investigative and Risk Analysis Services. Personal matters, child custody cases, or internal theft problems of your business, call our main man, Jerry, 318-635-9944. Discuss your case today or log on to defatapi.com. Teams have switched sides. We're back ready for period number 2 here in Shreveport. Decent crowd starting to file in over there to our right along the edges here. And again, 48 days since we've been at home. Luckily, though, we've got a whole bunch of time at home. This is not the only 2 games on this home stand. Bugs will be back at home next week for a trio of games. A couple of big games there as well against Corpus Christi, because the Ice Rays are a couple of points ahead of the Bugs in 4th. You have a good weekend this weekend. Now you play Corpus next weekend, and, well, things can really get crazy out there, and things can get crazy anyway, Duncan, because they're playing Oklahoma this week, who's rating tied with us. So there's a whole bunch of movement that can happen.
Oh, yeah, so you just got a scoreboard watch, Zach, and we love that as now signals thrown around. Charlie Birchfield ready to go. Let's get her going, brother.
Second period underway. Poloni will control the face-off and quickly bring it into the zone. It comes far side into the corner, wrapped around the boards by Barry. Flip back out to center. Remy picks it back up. Pass center ice, stolen away from him. Jackalopes it over the line. Shot there goes over Phillips on the glove side. It comes all the way back out to the blue line, but not out of the zone. It's held in on a nice pinch at the point that time by Hunter Toms. In the corner it goes, 5-car pile-up for it. Bugs working free, back of the cage. Birchfield gives away right out in front. That was Barrett going down the slot, gets taken down. Poloni will grab it and start to cycle it out. He gets tripped up, delayed call upcoming. Our first penalty of the game coming up against Odessa. That means the power play for the Bugs against the league worst penalty kill for the Jackalopes, going out there not even 40 seconds into the middle frame.
No, you're right, Zach, and I was actually talking with both head coach Jason Soupy Campbell, assistant coach Brett Smith, and they were telling me their penalty kill, as we mentioned, league worst. So versus a league halfway decent power play in the Mudbugs on this Scott Powerline power play. So we'll have to see where we lay, Zach. Get her going.
Bugs power play comes in the middle of the league at 25th as Earhart controls. High point for Adams. Slides it right. Big drive there. Turned aside. Earhart gets it back. Left circle. Down along the kick plate. Far side. Hoagland waits for it at the hash marks. Dumps it into the corner. Wolf Talby gets spun off the puck. Below the goal line. It's played again. And far side rifled all the way down. And as I mentioned, Odessa's penalty kill sits in at 69%. That is league worst. Now, interestingly, on the flip side, as we see with every team in the South, Their power play is second best. Here comes a chance right down the slot. Backhand shot, and Sakrisky tried to get it on the second chance, but it goes through the slot. Back up top it comes for Earhart. Left circle, down to the bottom. Fed it down that time for Samango. In the far wall again, Hoagland. Samango centering feed. Nobody was home on the doorstep. And Kuskowski will start it. He'll hold on to it and rifle it down at the blue line and over the line. Hoagland forces the turnover. Three-player entry the other way. Far side Roberts towards the net. Wrapped around the boards. Comes near side. Played by Samango. Centering feed. High slot. Big drive from the circle. That's turned aside. That was off a Griner. Puck is flipped up in the air. Griner gloves it down, but it's eventually stolen by Odessa, and they clear it all the way down with 45 seconds to go on the kill.
Speaking of, Zach, they had a shorthanded effort here, a little one, and I was talking, like I mentioned, with both coaches, and so their shorthanded goal effort's actually one of the betters in the league, but because they're just run and gun, but so far Bucks are doing good on this power play.
Given away at the blue line, controlled by Roberts. Far hash marks, wraps it around the boards. Below the goal line, flip backhanded up for Burnt. Burnt at the blue line, comes near side for Gerhardt. Tried to feed it to the middle. It gets knocked out to center at 13 seconds to go. Burnt picks it back up at center ice, brought in over the line. Sakrisky this time. Far side, into the high slot. Feeds it to the left for Gerhardt. Gerhardt cycles it back to the blue line for Burnt. Burnt fires one. That shot never got to that one off a Griner in front. Picked back up by Sakrisky. Slides up the wall for Gerhardt. Odessa back at full strength, and they'll clear it out to the blue line, but not out. Bucks will pinch and hold it in. Odessa flips off the very top of the glass. All the way to their blue line. Eventually played by Sakrisky again with speed. Chase down the slot. Chase off to his left. Stick handles and fires one. Pushed it just wide. Comes up the far side boards, backhanded out for Percelli. Get over the line left side. Percelli down the slot, has a trailer, feeds it to a one-time drive, and Phillips sprawls to his right, gets it with his skate, and holds on for a whistle with 16:51. He robbed him in broad daylight going down Juella.
Okay, so I threw the Uri drive at you to give me Juella. No, but excellent stop there from Ethan Phillips. And Zach, one of the main things that happened on the rebound, Nicholas Percelli also stopped his attempt. So, man, two good back-to-back saves from Ethan Phillips. Love to see it. By the way, I think we got, well, I know most of the streets here in Shreveport, but if we're going to throw these out, we gotta stay on top of them. But, man, good stuff, Ethan Phillips.
So Melker Loveland had that chance there, the 5'11 forward, 17 points on the year. He's no slouch offensively, but Phillips, another big save, and he gets another one there as he just kind of gingerly sends it over to the far corner. And it bounces into the slot, picked up by the Bucks, back the other way quickly. Here's Birchfield down the left wing. Birchfield has it poked away, flipped up the wall for Poloni, glove down to his stick. Bounces up in the air, batted down by Odessa. They'll play to the blue line, but not out, held in again by the Bucks. Birchfield corrals it, slams on a break, centering feet there, gets flipped up over top the net. Bugs hold on to it, here's Barrett. Barrett left circle, tries to go around the back-checking pressure that time of Henry Thornton. And Odessa's gonna win that battle. Kuskowski drops it off. Here they come, back down the near wing, shot there, turned aside, comes far side, another rifling blast. That goes wide of the slot. Here's Toms with a drive. He pushed his wide as well to the near side of the net. Goes off the boards behind the cage, flipped up the wall, held in left point. Drive there through traffic, turned aside by the Bucks. Barrett tries to clear, he can't. It's intercepted right at the blue line by Graves. Graves down the slot, his shot turned aside. 15:45 to go, second period. No score. These teams are really starting to heat up offensively in this middle frame. In the corner it comes. Bucks have a defensive end, try to flip it off the wall. Takes a weird hop, and again held in by Toms. Toms right in front of the net. Case gets it, or Remy rather, gets checked against the boards. Four-car pile up in the corner. Birchfield throwing his stick around, trying to work it free. Again, he's a newcomer, and he's had a huge impact in the lineup as he sends a couple of shoves away from the play. Centering feed right out in front, loose in the crease. Phillips didn't know where it was. He got a piece of it, though, just enough, and Remy gets hit behind the play. Delayed call upcoming. Goaltender off for the extra skater. Now we're going to get a whistle as Odessa touches in, and Remy got hit in the head behind the play. So we'll see what the penalty is. There is going to be a penalty on the play. We'll see if it's 2 or 4. And it's going to be a minor penalty for roughing. So another power play chance for the Bucks here at 15:08.
Good stuff. And it looks like going into the box for the Odessa Jackalopes with number 14, Bjorn Barnman, which, by the way, Zach, last Odessa penalty was also Mr. Barnman's. Yeah, Bonnerman, excuse me, was also Mr. Barnman's. So it's the second penalty on the night. Scott Powerline power play gets another shot.
Face-off is slid back up to the point. Earhart's got it left side. Earhart, top of the circle, into open ice. Hoagland down the slot. His shot, stick save, goes into the corner for Earhart. Duke below the goal line. Wraparound shot for Semenko. Rifles off the post, and it goes all the way back down. The Bugs set that up well. Just couldn't get the execution as the iron is unkind, and it goes all the way down 200 feet the length of the ice. Bugs will settle it down. Comes left side for Earhart. Earhart feeds it back across right side. In over the line comes Hoagland down to the bottom of the circle. Works below the goal line, going coast to coast in the offensive zone. Tries to flip it up the wall. It's intercepted by Whitted. Back behind the cage is played. Wrapped around the board's far side. Wolf Talby will hold it in. Slides it back up top. High slot. Earhart fires one. Pushed it wide. Picked up in the corner by Jacobs, who fires it all the way down.
So far with a minute 09, Zach, power play still getting their chances, getting their efforts. Just got to keep it moving, keep moving. Go, 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 go. Win that special teams battle, as we mentioned, one of our keys of the game.
Well, here's Roberts down the middle, cuts off to the right. Nice deke between defenders. Shot one, that one hits the crossbar. That's the second one on his power play. And Roberts, he likes to dangle between defenders. He got one of the top 10 goals of the year, as it was posted by the North American Hockey League earlier this week. And he almost had another one there. Here's Burnt, left point. Corrals it cleanly for Gerhardt. Almost overskates it, fed it into open ice. Far side, big blast in front. Went off of Griner, turned aside. Porcelli gets it, tries to pitchfork it up the wall. Bugs again, pinch to hold in the slot. Griner slides it for Burnt. Burnt fires one, that's turned aside. Gerhardt picks it back up with 22 seconds left on the power play. Wrapped around the board, takes a weird hop right to Jeremiah Roberts. Roberts plays it up the wall for Griner, who toes the line. Feeds it back to the right circle. Up top, Jared. Griner fires it high slot, rebound right at point blank range for Sakrisky, and these two goaltenders are robbing everybody. Rich Perrott down there has got his eyes wide down there.
Oh, he really does. It's a goaltending game so far, and I get the feeling it's just going to keep on going, being a goaltender game. Of course, Ethan Phillips for the Bugs, stopping so far 9 of 9. But on the other side of things, for the Jackalopes, Ben Batiste, stopping, 24 of 24 so far. We'll have to see here with 8 seconds left on this Scott Powerline power play. It looks like Birchfield is going to take the face off. Yes, he is. So good stuff to see Charlie Birchfield on the power play unit.
Tied up on the draw. Right circle drive there, stopped. Rebound comes down in front. One-time blast to the circle. That's turned aside, backhanded out to center. Man out of the box. Bateman plays it off to the right. Odessa into the zone for Chelly. Had it for a moment. Now down low. Right circle. Fed up top. Wrapped around the boards. Barrett was going to win the foot race for it. Speaking of low-scoring games, this one's held in. The last low-scoring game the Bugs played in with a 1-0 loss to Lone Star in this building. One of my first games here, and that's it. Everything else has been a whole lot of goals, especially as of late in the season, as it's played by Barry at his own blue line. Flips it on the breakout. Into the corner it goes. Busateri tracks it down below the goal line for Poloni. Poloni with the lefty stick tries to make it off the wall. Eventually controlled by the Bugs below the goal line again. 12:25 to go. Second period, we're scoreless here in Shreveport. Bugs started up. This is going to be an icing call. Coming up as the pass doesn't connect to anybody. As Birchfield got held up at the blue line. That'll be an icing whistle with 12:13 here in the second.
Of course, all icings this season, Zach, and everybody else back listening, where you may be, whether Arklatex or out in Odessa, Texas. All icings this season brought to you by our friends at Louder's Baking Company. That's Louder's Baking Company. And speaking of Charlie Birchfield, might have accidentally, inadvertently hit number 6, Sander Mullins, as we saw him skate over to the right-hand side of Ethan Phillips, but it looks like he's okay, so we play on.
Mullins, this as a forward, playing in the defensive position right now as he's back at the near point at the blue line. 12:13 to go, second period. D-zone draw for the Bugs, and they've had it for a moment, but Odessa will hold on to an offensive end. Wrapped around the board comes near side for Chris Graves. Can't corral it cleanly, though. Flipped up the wall to the blue line. Gloved down by Mullins, but he can't control it cleanly. Back the other way it comes. Barrett will wrap it along the boards. Barrett forces a turnover. Shoved off the puck by Mullins. Comes behind the cage, working to the left to Phillips' Graves. Or Vadas, rather. Now back the other way. Here comes Odessa. 3-on-2 developing for a moment. Bugs able to turn it to the wall, though, and Odessa's going to have to tag up. So Shreveport will hold on to it in the defensive end. 11:37 and rolling. We've got a Great pace to this second period, and right as I say that, as always, it never fails. Icing call with 11:32 to go.
The good old announcer. Well, good old announcer jinx, Zach. But
you know, if the broadcasters jinx, if I could apply that to other aspects of my life would be a lot easier. Never failed, I'm telling you. I mean, what an offensive game thus far.
Oh, yeah.
But the goaltenders have just been solid. Phillips just under a 900 save percentage. Bottas at 914. So, I mean, they both know how to make a bunch of stops. And while this is no different than a big-time hockey that Phillips will be playing when he heads off to be a Friar in a couple of months. Here's the big shot. Rebound comes out on the side. Tremblay turns and fires. That would have been about the same spot as goal from Amarillo was. Nonetheless, brought back the other way. Odessa in over the line. Jackalopes into the slot. Turned aside. Picked back up by the Bugs. Wilson up the near wall. It's played for Willie. Willie to Griner. It's eventually stolen away. Bounces free. And Griner in a battle tied up with his other 21 counterpart. Arlington now back the other way. Down the slot. Great chance in front. Rebound put. And a big stop for Phillips again. Standing tall in the crease. Back the other way. Odd man rush. Here's Griner. Down the left side. Hits the break at the circle. He lost the puck for a moment. Now he's got it back in his skates. He'll pin it up against the wall and get some help as Duke Earhart will come on in. Jason Soupy Campbell says Duke Earhart is, in his opinion, the hottest player on the team right now. Coming down the stretch, he was suspended, then came back and got 2 goals. Well, so, I mean, that's a good way to return the lineup as Odessa will rifle it off the boards. Given away at the blue line as Hoagland pinches to hold it in. Eventually played back up the wall, though. Out to center for Barry. Barry into the zone, around Hoagland that time. Flip back out to center. Picked up by Earhart. 2-on-1. Earhart for Hoagland, right side. Down to the circle. Centering feet and the slide. That's sent up over top to net. Another great chance there for the Bugs. Flipped up the wall. And here comes Odessa with a 2-on-1 for a moment. Staved out. Flip back up the wall for Barry. Barry at the point. Drops it off at the left circle. Fed back up top for Toms. Toms drives one. And Phillips scrolls to his left. Out of the crease to make the stop with 9:49, and that should bring us to a quick media timeout. We'll step aside here on the Bugs Broadcast Network. 9:49 to go in the second period. Or scoreless as the barrage of shots continues in Shreveport.
This is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace, gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills. They've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Hey fan, this is William Alexis Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Walker. Now let's get back to the action. Let's go, Bugs.
Johnny's Pizza House is the proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Let's share a slice of the best pizza in town. And Mudbugs Hockey is also brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. Hometown hero being honored down ringside by Jay Watley on this Friday. And, you take the small things for granted, Duncan, here in Robert J. Wright, Jay Watley, hometown hero, and the crowd rises to their feet here as the hometown hero being honored.
No, Bucks fans, for Alicia, I know you can get louder than that. Get on your feet and make some
Got a couple of those American flags waving, watching their Olympic team the last couple of days. Man, has that been fun.
It really has, and of course tonight's action, McKay Consulting hero of the game is one Alicia Hightower. It's good to hear her backstory coming into tonight from Mr. Jay Watley.
Well, John Byrne off the top of the glass. Took a weird off to the middle of the ice. Bugs almost turn it over. Scoreless game, second period, 9:40 to go. Bugs sent it all the way down. Controlled behind the net, wrapped around the boards. Jackalopes to their own blue line. Mythical creatures versus sea creatures tonight. Porcelli was going down the slot, but Brad Sotak said, nah, that's an offside whistle with 9:28.
And the Jackalopes bench did not look happy on that. And it looks like we're going to get a face-off in the neutral zone as the premature offside call from Brad Sotak is incorrect. So we're going to get a neutral zone face-off.
Yeah, Sotak said, nah, and so did the Jackalopes bench as well. They did not like that one. Nonetheless, the Bugs will control the face-off. Back at their own end with 9:23. Burnt into open ice for Wolf Talby. Wolf Talby, near side, feeds it back across. Burnt, shoved off the puck. Trickles into the corner. Picked up that time by the Jackalopes to center. Now Percelli with speed down the middle of the ice. Looking for his winger down the left side. He'll hold on to it. Tried to feed it too late as Phillips knocks the man down there. Right on the edge of the crease. A la Tim Thomas when he was with the Boston Bruins, knocking down Montreal Canadiens in front of the net. Back in the playoffs, always a good time. Wolf Talby to the middle for Poloni. Overskate it for a moment. Now he'll backhand it out to center. Bugs can force a 2-on-1 here. Down the right side. In the slot. Wolf Talby trying to hit the trailer. Couldn't connect. Would have one-timed it. Now back the other way. Got to be careful defensively. Roberts had it for a moment. Now it's stolen back away. Down the slot is Bateman. Bateman below the goal line. Picked up that time by a Bug, get knocked down there. Remy's got it, flips it off the top of the glass. Comes out only to the blue line, eventually gloved down. Zach Wilson behind his own net, flips up the wall again. Up for Wolf Talby, who pitchforks it forward, and he goes off for a change as he takes a hit. Odessa picks it back up below their net. Down to the left side of the goal. Back up to center ice. Comes Remy Pusateri with it. Almost goes off the man trying to come off the bench. It's Tremblay. Now back the other way, Odessa 2-on-2. Into open space, Catalano fires one. That one got tipped aside. Wilson blew a tire and goes down below the goal line. Remy Pusateri shoves his man off the puck. Duilio also comes in to help. He's in a battle away from the puck with Graves. 5-car pile up there as the fans down there banging on the glass with 7:45 to go. Puck still in the skates of the Jackalope there behind the net. Now it comes free far side. Roberts corrals it. Up ahead for Jared Griner. He'll flip it off the top of the boards, go off, trying to chase it. Icing, no. So Jackalopes will hold it below the goal line again. Off to the left side of the net. Blowing a tire in front of the net was Tremblay. Bugs get it back, though, at their own blue line. Here's Reed. Reed to the center circle. Touched ahead by Griner. This is going to be an icing stoppage with 7:19 to go here in a second.
Commercial licensing, as always, brought to you by our friends at Louder's Baking Company. That's Louder's Baking Company. And you know, Zach, we here at the Shreveport Mudbugs, we love our partners, including the Louisiana Association for the Blind. That's why we encourage each and every one of our fans to support our partners, such as Louisiana Association for the Blind. And speaking of which, you know they produce copy paper. If any of your business organization needs copy paper, just give them a shout on the World Wide Web, lablind.com, to order yours today. Free delivery within 100 miles. So much more. Once again, lablind.com, and order your copy paper and office supplies today.
Free delivery is always a great perk.
Love it.
For 100 miles, that gets you a pretty good way. Covers some of Texas, some of Arkansas, but a little bit of Arkansas anyway.
That's the beauty of the Arklatex. That's why it's called the Arklatex.
So now it looks like they're going to move the face-off to center. Puck went into the bench with 7:11 to go. Second period. And now Birchfield is going to spin around in circles, waiting for the linesman to be ready. Now he'll come in for the draw, and he wins the draw. Back to Owen Case at his own blue line. So the ritual worked for Birchfield that time. Wrapped around the boards comes far side. Up the wall to the blue line, held in by Adams. Adams sends it towards the net. Bug getting tied up there in the slot. Puck comes up the wall near side, up ahead. Brought in just barely onside. Odessa plays it back to neutral anyway. Now back the other way. Barrett got a touch on it to the blue line, but it's stolen away from him. Now the Jackalopes start out the breakout. Up the near side. In over the line. Taking a check is Jacobs. Into the corner the puck goes. Dropped off. Centering feed there. Broken up by Owen Case. Comes back up to the blue line though. Big drive from Toms. He blasts it wide. Comes far side for Jacob. Jacobs flips it up the wall again. Held in. Right below the goal line. 21. That's Harrington with it. Wraps it around the boards. Comes again far side for Barrett. Barrett into the corner for Adams. Dodging his man. He's just going to settle it down. Wait for all the chess pieces to get in place with 6:14 to go here in a second. Adams again below the cage. Still sitting. And if he was a visit player, he'd be getting booed right now here at George's Pond. Yep. But not going to boo our own guys, thankfully. As Adams will go off to the right of the net. Starts the breakout. Far side. Bugs through the middle. It's Barrett over the line. Barrett drops it off for a moment, then got it right back to his stick. In the corner, he shoved off the puck. And Odessa trying to work into open ice to start the breakout the other way. Comes Percelli across the red, now across the blue, into the zone. Actually, that's McPherson, rather, the 6-0 forward. He's got 14 points out of here. Bugs control defensive end. 5.5 to go. Second period, we're scoreless here in Shreveport. Earhart at his own blue line. Had it shoved away from him at center, but he did get out of the zone. He did his job. Wilson delivered the check. Puck comes back to Phillips off to the left of the net. We'll wrap it around the boards. Gerhardt picks up at the hash mark. Near side, he gets knocked down with the puck. Earhart tries to dodge a check. Bounces free for Hoagland far side. Gerhardt at the blue line. Tried to get it to him on a headman pass. Broken up at center by Odessa. Jackalopes have it. They'll settle it down at the red line. Now brought in over the line left side. Into the corner it goes. Right side of the zone. Down to the circle. And the man get knocked down. That's going to be a penalty coming up on Zach Wilson. And so the first power play of the game coming up for Odessa. And if you're the Bugs, you don't want to see it. Odessa, the second best power play in the North American Hockey League. They're going to get a chance with exactly 5 minutes to go left in the second.
Well, you're not wrong. It looks like it'll be cross-checking there from Zach Wilson. But you mentioned this Odessa power play coming in second tonight. It's Bugs penalty kill, however, coming in sixth with 84.18%. So it's a battle of, once again, good power play, good penalty kill, and now, of course, sometimes on the other end. But now as 2 minutes gets thrown on the board there for Zach Wilson, a cross-checking minor on this first choice personnel penalty kill. Bucks got to keep it out of their zone right now.
Odessa's power play against second in the league sits at 27.4%. Comes right side, back up top. Quarterbacking out high is Stewart. Feeds it off to the left. Big drive there from the circle. Stop. Loose in the crease. Phillips is just going to pounce on top of it and hang on for a whistle. Now DiUlio going after their leading scorer, Diosi, over there. And now the linesman will step in. Stop time with 4:43, minute 44 left on the kill. And you mentioned the good penalty kill for the Bugs, sitting sixth in the North American Hockey League at 84.2%. And I think I'll take sixth out of 35.
No, but as the lines get somewhat changed, Kate Giassi going after depending on your vantage point, either vice versa. But you don't see that much on Kate Giassi. At least I haven't. But
puck controlled, high slot, left circle, drive there. That's stopped again. Into the netting, out of play. Stop sign 4:35. We'll do it again. D zone for the Bugs. Ethan Phillips, a Providence College commit, going to be a Friar. I've always loved teams that are black and white, so that's really a cool place over there in Providence.
Oh, yeah.
They saw far side, D zone. Henry Thornton in to take it. They've got everybody except the one defenseman at the blue line on the circle that time. Interesting setup there, but it works for Odessa on the power play. We're not going to question it when they're second in the league. Right circle, it's controlled by Graves. Slide to back up top, just barely held in onside. Down low is Jacobs. Jacobs below the goal line, works off to the right. Lost the puck, got it back, slid it up to the point. Now comes near side again for Graves. At the blue line, shot there, rebound, knocked loose from Phillips, and now a whole scramble. Coming in front is Jared Griner, steps in and takes hold of a man. And everybody got to get entangled off. Semengo in there as well. Adams is going to control. Now Semengo, he gets shot up with Chris Graves in the corner. The linesman steps in, separates them. And now Adams, who had a huge fight a couple of weeks ago. And, well, he took care of somebody in Lone Star, that's for sure. And that's going to not delve into anything. And losing his helmet on that little scuffle there is Arrington, as he's still young, as he goes back to the bench with 4:09 left and 1:09 left on the power play here in the second.
Devin Adams, huge fight. That might be an understatement, and I say that not in a bad way, in a good way. It was more than huge. I mean,
yeah.
But I'm not going to get into the details of how the game was. The fight was better than the game, but no, nonetheless, minute and a nickel and 4 pennies. No, sorry, no nickel. I had my coinage right, I think.
It is after 8 p.m., so I'm not going to attempt to do math.
That's all right.
You're on your own with that one.
That's all right.
We don't do math during the day. We're definitely not doing it at night.
That's all right.
Here's Barry near side. We don't want that. That would not be. That would not go well as Tom swings it off to the left. High slot again. Barry circles back up to the blue line. Down low. Into the corner. They'll settle it down to hash marks. Fed back up top for Tom. Swings it off to the left again. Left circle. Back up top. Barry drives one. Pushed it wide. Had a great chance with an open net there, as Phillips has been drawn out to the right, and now the Bugs are going to force turnover. They're going to go for it here. Earhart taking on 3 Jackalopes, bounces free for DiUlio. He smartly plays it back to center, and then Owen Case gets a shot on net out of it. Kaser had no goals coming into the new year, and he's got 2, both of them against New Mexico. Although he would tell you both of them were flukes, so there you go. As it's wrapped around the boards, comes far side, Owen Case. Got to see his family in Lone Star. Got a whole big group with him. There's Tom's high slot. Off to the right for Barry. Barry centering feed, broken up. It takes a bounce off the board. Then here come the Bugs. Griner in over the line, right side. Griner around a defender, lost the puck. Gets knocked down to a knee, tried to play it out of the zone. Toms gets it back. And that's going to do it for Wilson's penalty as he's out of the box and forced with an icing call. Ready to, no, never mind, waved off. So Adams back the other way, Griner at center. Griner through the knee for Grayson. Gerhard had it, overskated, gets it back for Jared Griner. Drops it off for Gerhard at the left hash marks. Now works below the goal line, changes direction. Comes off to his right, up the boards. To the blue line it comes again. Reed one-time drive. That one's wide. Comes far side for Adams. Adams one-time blast through the crease. Got knocked down as he shot it. Comes back near side for Gerhard. Centering feed for Hoagland. Hoagland knocked off the puck. Potential odd man rush the other way. Here's Kuskowski around a couple of defenders. Kuskowski crashes towards the net. Lost the puck. Tried to leave it off at the goal line, but eventually the Bugs will turn it back the other way. 2:15 to go. Here in the second period, we're scoreless. How often do you get to say that anymore? Odessa will have to settle it down at center and tag up. They go D to D in their own end at the blue line. 2 minutes to go. Second frame. Up ahead, Percelli. Down the bottom of the left circle. Crash toward the net. Backhand shot. Pushed it wide below the goal line. Back up near side as Grayson waits for it. Gets checked off the puck. Now Odessa's got it. Left circle. Catalano slides it back towards the blue line. Now down into the corner again. Goes Shea Berry with it. Wrapped around the board. Knocked off the puck. Picked back up by the Bugs. Minute 40 to go. Got lots of exciting things to get to on the other side of the period with the intermission report. Here's a giveaway almost right in front of Phillips. He's able to get a piece of it. Comes far side, wrapped up to the blue line. Odessa plays it back. Catalano through traffic. Shot there. Phillips pounces on top of it. Adams gets mixed it up, and then Duke pushes him out of the way and says, I got it, buddy. And now they all get tagged up as Duke Gerhard grabbing hold of a jackalope here with a minute 24 to go. And this was a calm first period, Duncan. Calm, well, first period and a half, but I think it's kind of starting to heat up here late in the second.
That's the beauty of these two-game weekends, Zach, is that over time you'll see the tempers flare more and more as Duke Gerhard sends a verbal jab away of the Odessa Jackalope bench, but no, that's the beauty of these two-game series is over the weekend. The tempers flare more and more. The first period, okay, a little calm. Second period, okay, it's getting a little more. Third period, heated up. And obviously, you know, a nice sleep in there, but then Saturday night, oh, heated. But we'll see. We'll see if it gets any more crazier or if it will somehow calm down, Zach.
84 seconds to go. Second period, we're scoreless. D-zone draw for the Bucks. Tied up along the wall. Trying to clear it out. Into the corner it goes. Picked up by the Jackalopes. 4-car pile up again. Trying to work it free. Up the wall. Wilson's got his stick tied up with the Jackalope. Odessa feeds it back to the blue line. Looking left point. Through traffic. Got tipped. Went over Phillips. Never saw it, but luckily it goes over the net. Comes back near side. The late call up coming on the Jackalopes. They touch up. So it's going to be a minute, 2 seconds left. We're going to have a power play for the Bucks upcoming here in a scoreless game.
Good effort so far as that looks like going into the box there. Once again, Bonamich. Wow. So Bonamich once again into the box for the Odessa Jackalopes. And what I found interesting was that the Odessa netminder there, Ben Fontiche, was trying to go off, so you might have thought that the penalty upcoming was on the Bugs, but no, it's on the Jackalopes once again. Roughing is the call. 2 minutes, minute and 2, so he'll be on a 58-second power play when we come back.
Unless they score, which I'm going to manifest. It's
Sounds
one back over Burnt, but it goes all the way out, so we're not going to manifest yet. So that is Bainham's third penalty of the game. As you mentioned, he only has 34 penalty minutes in 31 games, so this is uncharacteristic of him. Get knocked down on the Bucks at center. Now an odd man rush the other way. Jacobs down the slot. Forehand shot got tripped up. Puck squirts wide of Phillips. 40 seconds to go in the second. Bugs on the power play with speed through the middle. Off to the right is Roberts. Down low into the corner. Lost the puck. Now wraps it around the boards. Below the goal line again, Sakrisky tied up off the wall, banked out to center ice. With 27 seconds to go, Bucks going to have to hurry up and regroup here late in the second period. They will have abbreviated power play in the third if they don't score. Here's Sakrisky. Left circle, bottom of the circle, tried the center rebound, comes out in front. Zakrisky got it back, fed up the wall. Chase has it again, leaves it off for Burt. Tried to stick it to the middle, gets it back at the hash mark. Centering feed there. One-time drive doesn't go. Odessa clears it, and that should do it. I imagine Phillips is just going to hold on to it on the blade of his stick. He does, and that puts 40 minutes in the books, and we're still where we started, Duncan. We're scoreless after the opening 2 periods on the first home game for the Bugs in 48 days.
Oh my gosh. Just back and forth shot efforts from both these sides. Regulation, power play shots, shorthanded shots, whatever have you, just back and forth. No goals yet. Key phrase, yet. But that's just where we leave things at. Of course, there'll be a 59-second Scott Powerline power play when we get back to game action. But, man, just back and forth. And it's a goaltending game. And, it makes sense that goaltending coach Rich Ferrant, as we talked to you back in the first, is here. It's just, it just is a goaltending game. And so, especially with, we got under 20 games now? And
yeah, 16.
So I get the feeling that these goaltenders are going to ramp up.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Especially the ones down there in the bottom part of the standings. And so, as we start this Sonic Drive in second intermission, so Zach, I believe you have a friend to talk to when we come back.
We do. Well, Cheryl Sims, the owner of S&D Fire Protection, great corporate partner with the Mudbugs, will be joining us on the other side of the timeout. We're scoreless after 2, and what a heck of a hockey game the fans have waited 48 days for. They're getting treated out there by the boys in purple and teal. We'll be back in a moment here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Congratulations! You kept a plant alive another day. You deserve a refreshing reward. Introducing new Whataburgers from Whataburger. You finally returned a text. Thumbs up emoji. You hung up a shirt. You changed a light bulb. You walked the dog around the whole block. Attaboy, it's treat time. The new prickly pear raspberry Whataburger from Whataburger.
An icicle treat for every small feat. What a burger.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
For the big, small, short, tall. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
This second intermission report delivered to you as always by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. This is how we Sonic, and we're joined now by a special guest, one of our other corporate friends. This is Cheryl Sims, owner of S&D Fire Protection. Thanks for making the trip up here. Glad to have you.
Thank you. You have such a cool view up here.
I know I think it's the best spot in the house.
It is. You can see everything.
So you've been the proud owner since 2012. So
yes.
Kind of give us an idea what kind of services do you offer? Where can people go for you?
So we do the state inspections on fire extinguishers, kitchen hood suppression systems, and paint booth suppression systems. So if you've ever noticed those tags that hang that say "Do not remove" by order of the state fire marshal, that's what we do. We put those there. And we do the annual inspections or the semi-annual inspections as needed on the fire safety equipment.
Absolutely. So you work a lot with businesses in the area.
Yes.
Are there any residential homeowners can kind of support you guys?
We strictly do commercial work. Of course, if you need an extinguisher for your home, we can definitely provide that, but we strictly do commercial work.
Alrighty, you're also a proud corporate partner of our coaches show, with Whose Fire We Have to Put Out.
Yes.
They've done a good job putting out his fire so far. Soupy's been, kind of seeing the future out there.
On it, for sure, yeah. They're doing a great job defensively against him tonight.
It's been a crazy game thus far. So we did have our first coaches show last week. You were up in the front row, other than me forgetting to ask your question and wasting your entire 40 minutes there. What did you think of the coaches show?
I loved it. I love that it included a lot of the fans. We got to witness it instead of, just watching it on Facebook, which is great, but it was nice to be part of it.
All right, if you want to be part of our next one, Wednesday night at Dickey's, 6 p.m. start, so that'll be lots of fun to get to. I noticed you also do emergency services as well as part of your business here.
Well, we do emergency and exit lighting. The emergency service that we provide is like if a restaurant were to have a fire, they can call us anytime to come and recharge their system to get them back up and work and running so they can serve the public and make more money. So.
All right, now you guys have been longtime partners of the Mudbugs, whether the coaches show in the arena with some signage or even coming on here to the broadcast. So why the Mudbugs? What makes this business marriage with the Mudbugs so special?
This is such a great organization. They are great with the community. The atmosphere here is, as you can hear, is phenomenal. They are just really great at respecting their corporate partners. Everything that you sign up for, they provide, and it's just a mutual respect for everything that they do.
All right, now you grew up in Shreveport, so you've been a fan for a long time as well.
Yes.
What is your favorite part personally about the Mudbugs?
I love everything. The atmosphere, just the fun of having a sports program in our area that we can come out and support. But what I love most of all is the players. I have so much respect for them. It's a full-time job for them, and people don't understand that. They're just kids, but these young men are our future, and they work their tails off. It's constant, and they all have wonderful manners, and they're just wonderful people, and that makes me want to do more for them.
That's what's so special about the Mudbugs, developing great players, also great people, and coming in the middle of the year, that's always tough for a broadcaster, but they've been great since the beginning, so that's been wonderful. Lastly, before we let you go, if somebody's looking to contract with you, work with you, where can they find you? Socials, website, phone number?
All of that, you can go to sdfireprotection.com. Our phone number is easily found on Google. We're at the top of the list. Or you can just ask for Aunt Cheryl. Everybody knows me by Aunt Cheryl here. And I will gladly help you out with anything I can. I hold all the licenses that my techs do. So anytime you call, I'm knowledgeable and I can answer any question that you have.
All righty, thank you. Well, that was Cheryl Sims, owner of S&D Fire Protection. Thanks for making a long trek up here to the booth. We got a good view, but we got to pay for it on the way up.
I know. I was a little out of breath, but I appreciate this so much, Zach.
Of course. Thanks for your longtime partnership with the Bugs. We'll take a quick time out back after these messages as the Sonic Drive-In Second Intermission Show rolls on.
Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport. Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun flip or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Alexis Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Welcome back inside George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum. Scoreless game. Mudbugs on the power play when we come back to game action. But first, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you in between, a very special guest joining me now. Not only is he the latest Mudbugs tender, but he's more importantly to one number 6 Remy Pusateri, little brother Nico Pusateri. Nico, welcome in.
Thank you, Duncan.
Of course, yeah, that's the best intro. I think that's the best intro I've got so far. Nonetheless, Nico, thoughts on the game so far?
Well, on the game, we're out shooting them by a lot. We just can't put one in the net. Both teams are playing great defensively, and it's a very defensive-heavy game right now.
Absolutely. Not only is it a defensive-heavy game, but as you mentioned, a very goalie-heavy game. Of course, 25-17 in favor of the Bugs over through 2 periods, mind you. Actually, in that second period, Odessa outshot the Bugs 11-8, so about a 3-shot difference. But, man, no, you're right, though. Back and forth we go. So, Nico, as I mentioned, not only are you the latest Mudbugs tender, of course, you come to us from the Cleveland Barons U18 AAA team?
Yes.
AAA team. I'm not going to lie, coming from professional to junior is kind of thrown off my brain a little bit, but we're getting there, Nico. But nonetheless, Nico, come to us from the Cleveland Barons U18 AAA, of course. And how do you think you're doing so far this season?
This season, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I put up a couple goals. I say I'm playing great defensively. I feel like my goalie with me could agree with that. But we're having a great season so far. It's just a real team effort.
Absolutely, Nico. Able to get some shots on in, as you mentioned. Of course, 9 goals, 15 assists, so 24 points on the year so far. So not doing too bad there, Mr. Pusateri. And speaking of the last name Pusateri, of course, as I mentioned, the youngest brother of one Remy Pusateri. Now, what was growing up with Remy like? I know what he's like, now, but what was growing up with him like?
Remy hasn't changed. He's always been hardest worker. He's pushed me to be the hardest worker too. He's been one of the best big brothers I could ever ask for. He's always pushed me to be the best, and he's also pushing his team to be the best.
Absolutely, and Nico, Remy is also a great locker room presence, and he's able to help with everything. Helps with setting up the fans. He's just a good overall guy, and of course, like we mentioned, one of the newest attendants. And so hopefully we'll see you at camp come August time, and hopefully on the ice alongside your big brother, Remy Pusateri. Now, moving on into you, Nico, what's going on outside of hockey in your world?
Not really much going outside of hockey. Just in Cleveland, it's a long day of hockey. Get to the rink early in the morning, stay till 3 or 4, and just go home after that, get some rest, and start all over, and just get ready for the next tournament or next games.
The beauty of hockey, especially at the younger stages. Now, granted, I stopped playing hockey when I was about 12 years old, but the more and more I learn about junior, especially guys coming in from all over the country and even all over the world, really, it's an interesting facet. Now, of course, your Cleveland Barons U18 AAA goaltender is here, partner in crime. How do you think he's been doing this season? You think that I can't get the words in, but nonetheless, how do you think he's been doing?
Liam Slattery, he's been playing great. He's such a solid goaltender. He's had I think it's 5 shutouts this year. He's been playing great in the pipes for our team, and he's definitely helped us get a couple wins.
5 shutouts on the year. I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty impressive, especially for the U18 level. And my understanding is it's pretty competitive, especially at that level. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nico, I got one last thing to ask you, and then I'm going to let you get going. So, of course, growing up with Remy was fun, as you mentioned. Of course, he's a good big brother now. Now, let me ask you something. If once you hopefully make this Mudbugs team next year, what number would scream Nico Pusateri? Number on the back.
Well, before I moved to Cleveland Barons, I was number 3, and that was my number for a long time.
Right.
But I'm number 55 this year, but I'm saying I'll go back to 3.
Okay, go back to 3. Of course, that number's right now with Evan Adams. But you know what? You never know. 55 also in Mudbugs history is a good number. Of course, the number of one Chris Broussard before he moved to number 14. Now, Nico, that's all I got for you. Thank you for joining us here on this Sonic Drive-In Second Intermission show.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more here on this Sonic Drive-In Second Intermission show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Bugs Broadcast Network. Fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantle and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mr. Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, back here, Sonic's second intermission show. We are scoreless after 2 periods of play as the Bugs return home to George's Pond. My oh my, when's the last time you would have thought we would have said scoreless going into the second period, or into the third period rather. Let me tell you something, these fans that have come out tonight, decent crowd on hand tonight after being away for so long. They have been treated to a show, and if you're not at George's Pond tonight, you are missing out on a great hockey game, back and forth, both ways. But the goalies, again, have been strong, holding everybody scoreless thus far. It has just been a crazy, crazy, crazy evening of hockey here at George's Pond. Shots are 25-17 in favor of the Bucks. They were outshot 11-8 in that second period. Just a couple of penalties, 3 on Bainman and 1 on Zach Wilson. No goals thus far. Both goaltenders again being up to the task thus far. We'll take a quick look at our out-of-town scoreboard before we get you set for this third period. A couple of big games coming up again. All these teams kind of within a few points of each other, and so you don't know what might happen. Again, the Mudbugs are in 6th place, tied in points with Oklahoma. The Warriors do hold the tiebreaker, though. They are 2 points behind, or a few points behind Corpus Christi, and Odessa is 2 points behind the Bucks. So as we look at the out-of-town scoreboard, Oklahoma trailing to Corpus Christi 2-1 with 18 minutes to go in the third period. So that gives the Bugs a chance. they can get 2 points or even 1 point here tonight if that score holds to jump Oklahoma, takes sole possession of that 5th place spot. Amarillo, New Mexico, they're tied up at 1 after 2 in Amarillo. Stanley Hubbard, Ty Azadi, the goal scorers. No surprise there for either goal scorer thus far. Shots are 26-18 in favor of New Mexico, so they are out shooting the Amarillo Wranglers. And then one game yet to get underway tonight, Lone Star and El Paso. They're out there in Mountain Time. Actually, they should have started. It's showing no score thus far. There we go. They just updated. El Paso on top of the Brahmas, 2-0. Shots are 13-6 in favor of Lone Star, but Camden Kaiser, Gage Kiplin, the goal scorers for El Paso, they have a 2-0 lead. And I'll tell you what, there's still plenty of games to go. There's still 15 games after tonight. Lone Star is only a few points ahead of El Paso. Again, the Browns have been in first place since the start of the year, but El Paso is pretty close to being able to jump them. So that is a huge series this weekend as well over there out in the mountains of El Paso, Texas. But we've got one heating up here tonight. We're scoreless after 2 periods of play. Back in a moment for the start of the 3rd period on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
This is Alexis Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, here we go. Back at home, George's Pond. 3rd period about to get set underway. We're scoreless after the opening 2 shots in favor of the Bugs, but ever so closely after they're outshot in that 2nd period. It's going to be a wild ride to the finish. Stay with us. Glad to have you tune in wherever you might be listening from on NATV or on the Mudbugs Broadcast Network. Bugs will skate left to right in this 3rd period. And the purple and teal back at home. They'll be back at home as well tomorrow night. 7-11 puck drop for game 2 of this pivotal series. It's the Odessa Jackalopes. Let's do it. Pucks down. We're underway in the 3rd period. This 3rd period brought to you by Delta Utilities. Know what's below? Call 811 to locate buried utilities at least 2 days before digging any project. Again, this 3rd period powered by Delta Utilities. Bucks are on a power play for 44 seconds as Bannerman penalty carried over from the 2nd. Bucks are playing catch in their own zone. Now they'll start to break out for Hoagland. Feeds it off to the left side, wide of Earhart's reach, but it bounces off the boards for Wolf Talby. Liam in over the line, drops it off for Duke. And Duke sent a shot on net that gets tipped off the top of the glass near side. Goaltenders have been big thus far. Here's Adams. One-time drive. Hoagland pushed it wide. Comes near side for Earhart. Knocked off the puck in the corner, flipped up and all the way down length of the ice. 14 seconds to go on the kill for the Jackalopes. They're trying to go 3 for 3 on the kill with the league worst penalty kill out there. Bugs power play sitting in the middle of the league and having a tough go of it tonight. Hoagland left point, drives one. That's covered up for a whistle with 18:59. I'd like to remind you that Porter's Industrial has been delivering the difference for Mudbugs hockey, locally owned and operated for over 50 years, providing floor mats, uniforms, and facility services for your company. If you're coming out to a game and would like to explore group rates for groups of 10 or more, tickets just $10 each. Call the front office 318-636-7094. Book your group today. Still plenty of home games left, although not that many. But luckily, though, the Bucks have survived that month and a half long road trip, and They honestly don't have too many road trips, just 2 road trips left, and they're home for the next 2 weeks after this week. They'll face off against Corpus Christi Friday, Saturday of next week. An offside whistle here. Nobody heard it, and now Montana will step in. 18:50 left to go in the third. Those Satan Bugs will have trio games next weekend. Corpus Christi Friday, Saturday. Then Lone Star will make their trip from Oklahoma to play a makeup game on Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. While the Bugs are at home, by the way, we will continue to have our coaches show. We had our first episode Wednesday. We're going to do that draw again and neutralize. Next coach's show will be this Wednesday, 6 p.m. from Nikki's Mexican Restaurant. So be sure to come out and join us at Nikki's. Stay tuned to the socials for more information. That'll be a Fireplace Specialties coach's show. Love to have you out there. And as Cheryl Sims mentioned it, our second intermission interview, you'll get to hear from the coaches, some players, and even ask a few questions of your own as Remy will play it in his own zone. Flipped up the wall. Off the edge of a Odessa stick, now brought in over the line. Here's Griner, left circle, drive, batted up in the air, in the slot. Julio whacking at it, and he's going to get called for a penalty here. Arm up with the referee. Back the other way, dumped in by Odessa. Now we're going to get a whistle from the linesman as it's touched up. Now we're going to get a tripping call coming up on Vinny Julio. So now it's a power play opportunity upcoming for Odessa with 18:21 left in the third. So this will be a very important first choice personnel penalty kill. Vinny Julio sits for tripping, just a second penalty of the game called on the Bucks. Only 3 called on Odessa, so they've been rolling around here this evening. Vinny Julio, by the way, being offensively the last couple of weeks, has points in 4 of his last 6 games, but he's going to sit on his penalty kill. Yet again, Odessa came into the game with their power play sitting at 27.4. That's second best in the North American Hockey League out of all 35 teams. And this one squirts over the line, back out to center, so they're going to have to regroup, and Loveland will fire it in. Phillips gets a piece of it behind his net. Far side, Owen Case shoved off the puck. Remy gets in and rifles it off the boards, and it goes all the way down. 2 minutes into the third, they get a successful clear to the Bucks. Minute 39 left to go on the kill. Tatar waits at the near point. It's going to be brought in far side, though, by Odessa. 3-player entry towards the net. That one goes off the side of the cage. Picked back up by Matar. He'll slide it up the half wall to the blue line. And they try to go D-to-D for Loveland. That gets broken up, and Loveland's going to have to track it all the way back down. Back the other way, Odessa at their own blue line, or at the Bugs blue line, trying to clear it in. Bugs will pinch it out to center ice. Tied up right in front of the Odessa bench now at the center red line. Eventually controlled by the Jackalopes. They'll work back into their own end. Near sidewall, brought in Matar. Over the line, dekes around Adams. Lost the puck into the corner. Matar shoved off the puck by Remy. Flipped up the near half wall. Bucks trying to clear. Loveland going into battle at it. Erhard turns and fires it all the way around the quick paint and all the way back out to center ice, where it's tracked down eventually by Henry Thornton, the 5'11 defenseman for Odessa. Jackalopes have a nice uniform combination out there as well. White tops, black pants with a red trim. They've got 35 seconds left to go on the power play. Bucks try to clear it out, batted down at the blue line, eventually comes out to center. Picked up by Yossi, the leading scorer. He's having a heck of a year. 45 points in 44 games, so averaging a little over a point a game. They've kept him off the scoreboard thus far. 16:38 to go in the third. 15 seconds to go on the power play. Brought in over the line right side is Jacobs. Lost the puck into the corner. Jacobs tied up along the wall. Wilson got a stick on it, and Remy will backhand it all the way down the ice. Another successful clear is going to kill off the penalty. Julio rises to his feet in the penalty box, gets a signal, and he's off to the bench for a change as Odessa will hang out behind their own net, down to our right. 16:12 to go. Third period scoreless on this Friday night. What a game it's been. Dumped in. We're going to get just barely an icing call. Brad Sotek says the Bugs won the race. Tomorrow night, Claws and Paws night at the pond. Bring out your pooches to the game tomorrow night. A bunch of exciting promotions coming up. We have Word of God Ministries presenting God and Goals night tonight. A lot of fun. They're going to have a post-game concert as well. It'll be a lot of fun after the game. A post-game skate as well as always after the Bugs are at home. And this one's one back out to center, picked up by Owen Case at his own blue line. Feeds off to the right for Gerhardt. Grayson up the boards, dumps it in from the blue line. Now it's linesman said that's good, so we'll play on. Odessa tries to clear back out to center. Here's Yossi. Down the right side to the circle, fires one, and Phillips will snag it out of midair for a whistle with 15:42 left here in the third period. I'd like to remind you the Fireplace Specialties, proud corporate partner of your Mudbugs, fireplaces, gas locks, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills. They've got it all. Located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport. We're on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties, your fireplace headquarters.
Jane Giossi shot that right on into Ethan Phillips, and how's that guy? Haven't used it haven't used it today, but Ethan Phillips, puck in the glove, like that'll do a magnet.
Bugs win the draw, bank it out to center ice. Picked up by Xander Mullins. D-to-D at his own blue line, near side wall. Played to center, Mullins. Back of the net, flips it up the wall again, back out to center. Wilson picks up his own blue line far side. Banks it to the middle, over the logo, stolen away. And now Odessa with a 3-on-3. Into the slot, cut towards the net, shot there. Phillips stands tall right in front of that, makes the stop. And it's whistled over now to the near side for Tremblay. Cuts off to his left, down the middle of the ice, gains the line. Here's Julio, drives one. That's pushed wide. Might have gotten tipped on the way towards the net. Flipped up the half wall to the blue line and held in by the Bugs. Julio in the slot, feeds it for Griner on the doorstep. Couldn't get it cleanly, it's in his skates. Now he's tied up on the wall. Odessa bench wants a penalty, and it looks like the referee's going to grant it to him. As Burt touches up at the blue line, and the Bugs are going to go back to the kill with 14:51. And, well, they've held the power play scoreless thus far, but that's not what you want to do here in the third period.
No, absolutely not, as Jared Griner goes into the box. So Bugs will go back on this first choice personnel penalty kill, and as I was coming up, back up here, able to kill off that first one here in the third period. So got to look to kill it off once again, Zach. So 2 minutes thrown on the board. Let's see where we go here.
D-zone drop for the Bugs, comes near side in to take it is Jeremy Jacobs. He's got 51 points on the year, 45 games played, 15 goals, 36 assists. Don't want to see him on the ice. He's got the puck, swings it off to the right side. Here's Yossi, leading scorer through the crease, pushed just wide. Bugs pick it back up in the corner. Below the goal line, Everett Adams races after it. He's got it, has it on his stick, and now fires it up into the bench and out of play. So unsuccessful clear. Bugs are going to have a D-zone draw with 1:45 to go on to kill, and 14:36 left in the period.
Looks like it bounced just a little bit off a few helmets of the Odessa Jackalopes on the bench there. But I mean, it's funny, but it's not, very funny. And speaking of helmets, when I was coming up here, Michael Loveland right there, of course, that is Loveland there. Melker Loveland, number 9 for the Jackalopes. He has a tinted visor, Zach. He has a pink tinted visor. That's not something you see every day.
No, not at all. This one's cleared down. Bugs are short-handed, so no icing. Played back near side. It's tracked down by Henry Thornton. He's got 12 points. Looking to add another one. Jacob with speed. Swings it across far side. In over the line come the Jackalopes, tied up. Great play defensively as they enter the zone, and it's cleared all the way down. What a play by the Bugs as Birchfield gets a stick whack behind the play as he goes off to the bench, and Odessa will hang out behind their own net, having a party down there. 14:05 left. They'll start to break out. Giossi up the far side over the line. Giossi, after he got taken down, was able to just slide it back to the blue line. Julio tying up with him. In the far corner, it's picked up by Graves. Graves centering feet up top, Jacobs. Jacobs at the circle, he rifles it and scores. Waiting for it there was Jeremy Jacobs, his 52nd point of the year, his 16th goal, and with 13:48 left to go, the second best power play unit strikes, and Jeremy Jacobs breaks the ice. It's 1-0 Odessa.
As he gets mobbed over there by his teammates, I was watching the play develop, and of course, Vinny Giulio actually lost his stick on that play. Still tried to make a defensive effort though, so that's one thing you love to see out of Vincent Giulio, but now just a bit of a snipe there from Jeremy Jacobs. So, looks like the penalty's still on the board. I think they're going to clear it here, but no, there's just sometimes it just happens, Zach. A rifle right through the goalie, but 13:48, got to find an answer.
52nd point, 16th goal of the year. I'd like to make a correction. We've been saying all game that Giosi's their leading scorer. He's their leading goal scorer with 23 goals. He's now 6 points behind Jacobs for the team lead, and this is going to be icing off the draw. Good foot race, but Zach Wilson wins in, and it's hard to beat Zach Wilson with that height advantage he's got.
No, Zach, you're absolutely correct. 6'6", 200. You have to imagine those strides are just about as every inch of that 6'6" stature. Penalty still on the board here. They're probably looking to get it cleared off
I
here.
know it confused me for a second there, but nobody's picked up on it down on the ice yet. So, nonetheless, it's 1-0 Jackalopes. With 13:30 to go in the third, Roberts chases it down in the corner, bounces right out in front of the net. Waiting on the doorstep there where the Bugs. Rebound comes out in front, flipped in the air, backhanded. And a decent scoring chance there, and now they start meeting of the minds again as Hooper Shelley stands across from Semengo as they jaw away at each other with 13:21.
Bit of an elbow there from Nicholas Percelli to the bubbled dome of Joe Semengo. He goes off for a change. So interesting to see the man Percelli kind of get away with one, depending on who you ask. But yeah, so again, 13:21. Jacks up 1-0. Gotta find a response here for the Bucks.
Joe Semengo has played, making his 38th appearance. He played in every game till he was injured a couple of weeks ago. He's got 3 goals, 17 assists. He leads the team in assists. He's been a big playmaker. Being a Philly kid, he's not going to back down from anybody, that's for sure. As he got tied up there after the play. Odessa starts to break out to center. Budge send it into their own end. Wrapped around the boards. Wilson will track it down behind Phillips and wait and move off to his right. Now he swings the puck around the left side to the blue line, but not out. Held in by McPherson as he'll fire it. Off of the boards behind the cage. Odessa picks it back up offensive end. 12:46 in rolling here in the third period. Bugs trail 1-0. And now we've got a delayed call upcoming and touched up by Odessa. Bug got taken down in the corner. And now Hoagland is going to stand in there and patrol. Standing up for his guy there as he looks to be the new sheriff in town. And the referee has his watchful eye over there, and we'll get a penalty upcoming on Odessa. So another power play for the Bugs, their 4th of the game. They really need one here, Duncan.
No, absolutely they do. And I don't think there's any way you can say as number 29, that Gabe Pankratz goes into the box there. Looks like the penalty, as I mentioned, going to be on Pankratz. So go down for tripping. And when Duke actually went down, he looked to hold his face a little bit, but he seems to be okay. And you know what? I respect that. So.
And here we go, 12:41.
So it looks like checking from behind is going to be the call as opposed to tripping as we thought.
Face-off won by Odessa. D-zone held in by Adams. Nice play at the right point. Adams slides across the left. Hoagland back up top for Adams. Adams trickles it back for Evan. Hoagland around a check. Up top for Adams again. Left point, down low to the bottom left circle. Hoagland streaks towards the net, fires one. That's blocked away in front. Adams will pinch, but now it's given away. Here comes the breakaway the other way. Jacobs down the slot, looks backhand shot. Phillips got it with escape lane and knocks it away. Nice play there by Ethan Phillips. He's been big in nets. Just the one shot's gotten past him thus far. That was a great chance for Jacobs, but now Odessa whiffs on the clearing attempt, and Jacobs is no slouch. Again, he's the leading scorer. Just scored that goal, almost had a second one. They'll go off for a change. With 1:14 to go on the Bucks power play as Burnt will settle it down behind the net. John Burnt, 27 points, 11 goals, 16 assists. Had a 4-point weekend at El Paso. Those were his last points as well. Love to see him get back on the board. Johnny Burnt in over the line right side. Lost the puck for a moment. Given away right out in front. Tremblay fires one. Kick save that time by Vadas. Wrapped around the boards again. Foot race for it. John Burnt pinches. Tried to hold it in. Backhanded out, but not out of the zone as Roberts holds it at the blue line. Comes far side for Toms. The battle of the 24s back there as Willie gets a stick on it. Centering feed comes up top towards the blue line. High slot. Roberts was waiting for the pass. It got deflected. Now he'll turn and fire it into the corner. Tremblay waits below the goal line. 29 seconds to go on the power play. Tremblay back up for Roberts. One-time blast. Rebound comes out in front. Bucks trying to whack it out on the doorstep, but Odessa will turn and burn out of the zone to center. Picked back up by John Burnt. Quickly back in the zone come the Bucks. 5-player entry. Gerhard tried to leave it off for Sakrisky. That's turned up the wall again. Sakrisky down to the bottom of the circle. Tom steals it away and he'll backhand and lift it out of the zone to center. And now a foot race for it. It's going to be won by the Jackalopes. Here's Catalano towards the net. Lost it as John Burnt picked his pocket from behind. Penalty is over. Back 5-on-5. 10.5 to go. Bucks trail by a goal here in the third. There's John Burnt at his own blue line. Tried to swing it off to the right. Stolen away by Odessa. Jackalopes rifle it in. Roberts going off for a change. Puck bounces near him along the near wall. Bugs will pick it up in their own in zone though. Left off for John Burnt on top of the goal line. And he turns it over. Here's Catalano down the slot, fires it. Phillips steps in front of it, makes a stop. Busateri tries to glove it out towards the blue line. Bugs get it back defensive end, and he'll flip it out. This is going to be maybe enough for icing as the puck rolled on its edge for a while, and it just does barely squeak over the goal line for a whistle with 10:05 left to go in the third.
Of course, all life seasons are brought to you by the newest sport partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey, Louder's Baking Company. Once again, that is Louder's Baking Company. So, power play not successful here tonight. So, and on that Jeremy Jacobs goal, Chris Graves and Caden Jihasi on the assist. So that's Graves' assist on the year. Jihasi's 23rd. Of course, Jeremy Jacobs with that 16th goal on the year so far, and we'll do the face-off again, Zach.
Far side, D-zone draw for the Bugs, trailing by a goal with 10 minutes to go, midway through the third. What a game this has been as it returned to George's Pond as this one's up into the netting and out of play. And you know, Duncan, it's been so fun tonight. We're going to do it again tomorrow as that brings us to our media timeout midway exactly through the third with 10 minutes to go. Bugs down by a goal as Percelli yaps on his way back to the bench. We'll take a timeout on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
All right, exactly 10 minutes left to go third period. I'd like to remind you that Mudbugs Hockey is brought to you as always by our friends at Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice of the best pizza in town. We're back to action. D-zone draw for the Bugs was controlled by Odessa in the offensive end, but Grayson Gerhardt sticks it out to the blue line. He'll track it down for a moment at center. Odessa dumps it back the other way. 9 minutes and 44 seconds to go. Third period, 1-0 after the Jacobs goal. Bugs give it away. D-zone flipped up to the wall to the blue line. Stick towards the net, goes through the crease and flew over to the near corner. Again picked up behind the cage, centering feet. Hit nobody, so Grayson Gerhardt starts up on the attack. Grayson through the middle logo, gets taken down at the blue line, lost the puck. Odessa gets it back, and they'll flip it high up into the air. A major league fly ball that time. It's dumped back in by Adams. Picked up by Thornton behind his own net, works off to the left. Up for Matar at his own blue line, starts up the breakout at the center red line, dumps it in. Phillips will watch it from his paddle into his glove. Stop a whistle with 9:06.
9:06 left, Zach. You have to think as the Acme Brick save of the game is thrown up on it. And you gotta say, Ethan Phillips has been doing an excellent job. I mean, one goal past him, not the end of the world. And as we watch here on the big board here, that was a good save by Ethan Phillips, and he even kind of stumbled. Hello.
I'm glad they picked that. Was going to be my vote as well. That breakaway save, because not only does he make a breakaway save, but it keeps it a one-goal game.
Oh, yeah.
8:56 left. Semengo, and now breaking his stick with a jackalope. Now the other way. Here's Sakrisky. Lost the puck. It squirts into the corner. Feeds it up top. Into the slot it goes for Adams. Tracks it down far wall, but eventually poked back out to center. So Mitchell Reed tracks it back around the stick into his own end. Leaves it off for Adams. Adams knocked off the puck. Back for Reed below the goal line to the left of his netminder with 8:31 to go. Here in the third period, Bugs trying to move quickly here with the breakout. Here's Sakrisky in over the blue line and backed it back out himself. So now the Bugs have to tie up and blow in a tire there with the winger far side. Can't get back on side. And that'll draw an offside whistle as Roberts blew a tire there trying to get back out of the zone.
Yeah, I don't think Owen Case saw Jeremiah Roberts, kind of stumble and blow a tire into the feet of head referee right there. But also, that stick break, that was the most interesting way I've ever seen. Like, I've seen it break in half like that, but I've never seen it, like, both pieces fly up into it. Like, I've never seen that. That's a new one for me.
I'd say the blade of his stick flew up like a boomerang there. Came back down. That was crazy. I'm like you, I've never seen that. Looked like A line drive single when the bat breaks in baseball. It just gets sawed off, and I've never quite seen it like that. But nonetheless, Jackalopes control defensive end with the 1-goal lead. 8 minutes to go. Flipped all the way down. Icing washed out. Owen Case will track it down. Far circle. Works below the net. Almost lost the puck. Gets it back. Tries to feed it up top. Odessa forces the turnover. Big drive at point-blank range. Is stopped by Phillips. He has been so big for the Bugs tonight. He makes another stop there with 7:55.
Really has had his moments tonight, especially right there. As Bankers was able to shoot it right onto and able to smoosh the equipment together, come up with another big save to keep this. Only a 1-goal deficit for the Bugs. So 7:55, almost at 8 minutes, but 8 minutes spinning to your ass though.
Graves in to take the draw. He wins it and fires one towards the net. And that referee started blow the whistle, then chose not to. So now it's controlled by Odessa. D-zone for the Bugs. Goes off the top of the glass, stays in play. Gerhardt's going to win a foot race to it. Gerhardt crouches towards the net, pitchforks it, and a great stop. Oh my goodness, he had a great chance on the odd man rush, and another great save by the man in net for Odessa. Vadis coming up big again, stopping that puck.
Oh, Vadis was able to grab that puck off the goal line. Almost, it was definitely in the crease, I'll say that much. I don't know if it was quite on the goal line there, but give credit to Grayson Gerhardt, too, able to win that foot race and get on in on the inside of the Odessa defenseman, though. And hello.
Earhart mixing it up as he takes a slash now from Shea Berry. Earhart's going to stare him down. Linesman quickly hustles in to break it off. And Earhart's another one that's not afraid to go.
He is not.
You know, it's really interesting, Duncan. You see this team, and you look at the numbers. This is not a big team. It's actually a quite small team, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are not very big, but they're scrappy. You love to see it.
Absolutely. Young team, too. Elite prospects, at least, from what I've seen now. Sometimes they're not always right. They say the average age of this Bugs team is at least 19 and a half, so there's definitely going to be some improvement, but obviously, I'm just going to leave it there, Zach.
And over the line, Odessa picked up by the Bugs. Far side, trying to pitch it up the half wall. Held in by the Jackalopes right out in front off the side of the cage. Comes near side with 6:58 to go. Third period. Bugs trail by a goal. Centering feed couldn't connect for Loveland, but the man comes off the bench and fires one that got tipped in front by Percelli. Comes near wall. Flipped up the wall again. Held in at the blue line by Thornton. He sends one towards the net. Whistles wide. Now Loveland with a one-time drive. Phillips down to his stomach. Semengo thankfully got it. Almost turned it over. Now here comes Roberts the other way. Jeremiah with a breakaway. Jeremiah shot saved by Vadis again. He robs Jeremiah Roberts. Rebound comes up top. Bugs have had their chances as Burt got knocked down away for the play. The man who knocked him down, Arrington, gets the puck. He'll flip it back out to center. It's controlled by Birchfield. Tumbles back into his own zone. It's picked up by Tremblay off the bench. Sticks it over to the right side for Adams. 6 minutes to go. Adams blows a tire, still has the puck though. Drops it back towards his net for Tremblay. Swings it off to the left for Birchfield. Birchfield allowing Sotak. It's knocked down at the blue line. It's dumped in by the Bugs, but they let the Jackalopes have it in the defensive end. Now they'll pinch after it. Centering feed right in front. Tremblay tried to Wolf Talby, and Willie instead went towards the net. Now everybody's going to get mixed up as a Jackalope grabbed Willie that time, and Liam came in defense. Birchfield also got tied up. He'll head off to the bench for a stoppage. And 5:48 left. Intensity picking up. Every point means something here, Duncan, as we hit the final 15 games of the season.
Yep. And Charlie Birchfield, I talked to him, and he was telling me how, it was an adjustment coming over from Aberdeen into the South Division. I think he has finally settled in well, especially with the aggressiveness of the South here, but
yeah. I know the South Division changes you.
Oh yeah.
Pretty quickly out there as Jackalopes control. Whiff on the clearing attempt. Earhart tracks down a loose puck. Far half wall. 5:40 to go. Bugs trail by a goal. This home crowd looking for something to cheer about here. Here's Gerhardt. High slot. Swings off to the left. Nobody was home though. Into the corner it goes. Picked up back of the cage by Odessa. The Jackalopes wrap it around the boards. Up towards the blue line to get it out to center. Banked off the wall. Brought in over the line. Down the slot. Tried to hit the trailer that time with McPherson. with off the edge of his blade. Picks it back up to the blue line. The Bugs clear it out to the line, not out of the zone. Now it's dumped in. Picked up by Zach Wilson. He'll fire it near side for Gerhardt. Plays to Karam. Gerhardt tied up at his own blue line. Now up ahead to center for Hoagland. Spun off the puck. Bounces for Earhart. Hoagland looks like he's hurt. He goes down to 2 knees there, grabbing that right arm, and then he knocks the man down as he does, and that's going to be a penalty on the Bugs. Slashing the call on Duke Earhart. I think it's on Earhart, although there's a Catalino's yelling at the referee, but it is going to be on Duke. So now the Bugs down the goal with 4:54 left. They're going to be down a man for almost half of that.
Yeah, and as Evan Hoagland skated back to the bench, I saw him get a little whack at, well, not him whacking, but I saw him get a shot at him, and that's what led to him going down to both knees like that. So I think the Jackals were able to get away with one, but now as 2 minutes get thrown on here, Duke Earhart will be tripping 2 minutes. So this first choice personnel penalty kills. Got to go to work now. Go.
Controlled by Thornton. Swings it left side, Jacobs. Jacobs down low, one-time drive at the goal line. Is off the side of the net. Giosi picks it up. He's tied up along the wall by Wolf Talby. Trying to work the puck free. It bounces free for Owen Case, who tracks it down near side. 4.5 to go. Bugs on the kill. It's flipped up ahead. Foot race for it as the goaltender swings it off to the right. Almost gave it away right in front with a couple of Bugs pinching. Now here comes Jacobs the other way. Doesn't corral it cleanly. Now he tracks it down. Has to hit the brakes at the blue line and tag up. Now brought in center point by Thornton. Thornton down to the bottom of the left circle. Hits the brakes, looking for a play. He's got Bugs on either side of him. Feeds it into the corner for Giosi. Flip back up the wall. Thornton controls. High slot, drive there. Got tipped. Went over top of Phillips. Bugs trying to clear. Owen Case has it to the right of the goal mouth. Now it's left off for Remy, and he's got to slap it all the way down.
Good stuff there from Mr. Pusateri. Slap it on down. Minute left in this first choice personnel penalty kill, Zach.
57 seconds to go on the kill for the Bugs. Jackalo's bring it in. Comes near side for Loveland, who's got to win the race to it against Adams. Now in the corner, Griner has it tied up. Jared, around a broken stick, will rifle it all the way down again. Good clear with 40 seconds to go on the kill. 3.5 to go here in the third period. Bugs trail 1-0 back at home for the first time in a long time. They put forth a good showing. Now they got to get on the scoreboard. Jackalope the other way, giving away in the slot. They get it right back, though. Flipped up in the air, glove down by the Lopes. It's Barry. He settles down, top of the right circle. Slides it gingerly up top. Now Loveland, left side. Back up to the blue line. Drive from Barry is turned aside by Phillips. Into the corner it goes. Adams shoving a man off the puck. That was Percelli. Those two have been going at it all night. Tied up along the wall again. 3 minutes to go. This is going to kill off the rest of the penalty, though, so that's good news for the Bugs. Control bottom of the circle. Slid back up to the blue line. Far point. Comes near side. Looking for a drive off the bench. Pushed just wide by Kuzkowski. Then Phillips will grab it, and now everybody's going to get mixed up with Adams, and Earhart grab a hold of a Jackalope and throw him down to the ice. Behind the play, 2:47 left. Everybody kind of getting in there. Earhart trying to go over top of the referee, trying to get a hold that time of Kuzkowski. And those two still jawing away. The linesmen separate them physically, but not going to separate them vocally out there.
No, absolutely not going to separate them vocally, Zach. That's a good way to say it, actually. But now as we 2:47 left, we look to a few things. Firstly, win the defensive zone faceoff. Second thing is get a play developed, get it in the offensive zone, and then look towards that net of Ethan Phillips for anything, really. I mean, you know what I want to say, pull them, but who knows? Things might happen that will maybe not lead to that. Kind of a blunt explanation of it all, but and sometimes bluntness is rightness. Not my best phrase.
Soupy does still have a timeout over there as well.
He does.
Oakland to take the D-zone draw, but it's won by Odessa. They snap it into open ice. Quick drive, kick save by Phillips, and he dives on top of it smartly. And here we go again. They're all tied up right in front of Phillips. Hoagland's got a hold of somebody behind the net. Earhart also jumps, trying to go around the linesman here as he tries to grab a hold of, I think that's McPherson behind the cage.
It was.
The linesman again step in, and now they're still going after it. It's actually, see who that is there. That's Pankratz. He's been mixing it up a few times tonight. Haven't called his name all that much, but been in the box and mixing it up there. So face-off comes D-zone for the Bugs again. They won that one almost, and then the Jackalopes able to get it into open ice. 2:42 left, third period. Bucks trail by 1. They tie this one up to the blue line. It doesn't come out, though. And now a turn and fire right in the slot. Now it's turned aside by Phillips. Burnt will rifle it out, only to the blue line, though. It goes off at Odessa Jackalope. Earhart sends it forward to the Odessa blue line. They'll dump it back in, wrapped around the boards. Wilson will leave it off for John Burnt, and now we get a delayed offside coming up here from Brad Sotak, and an neutral zone draw coming up at 2:20.
Well, Zach, like you mentioned, we get to continue the fun tomorrow night. So, and I get the feeling that tomorrow night the tensions are just going to keep getting heated and heated, just as our friends at Fireplace Specialties love their fireplaces getting heated. That didn't sound
The
right.
blue line, Semengo flipped up in the air, gloved down by Odessa at their own line. 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go. Bucks trail by a goal, and if this score stands the way it is right now, they'll be tied in the standings after tonight. Bucks come in, by the way, against Odessa this year 1-1, so the Jackalopes would also hold the tiebreaker as well, because they'll take the series lead with a win here tonight. Phillips leaves it off behind his net. Bucks got to go with a minute 48. Phillips still in the net. We'll see if the Bucks try to pull him here. Flipped up the center ice. Sakrisky kicks it to his stick. Sakrisky, nice move down the slot. Scored free. And he takes a man down. That's going to be a penalty call. And that's costly. And a shot there fired by Semengo. And everybody's going to jump Joe here. And Semengo not back it down. Jeremiah Roberts will come in defense of his teammate as he tried to hit the one-timer and at the whistle after the penalty call from the referee. But it looks like now the Bugs aren't going to be able to pull Phillips because now they're going to be short-handed.
Not the penalty you wanted to take. And again, blunt statements are, well, yeah, Zach, blunt statements are the truth. Not the penalty you wanted to take as Chase Sakrisky goes in for tripping 2 minutes. So now if we are able to pull Ethan Phillips, we being the Bucks here, it's still going to be 5-on-5 if the goalie is pulled. So, minute 33 left.
Yeah, coaches behind the benches have been quiet, and Smitty, well, let's just say he's not a fan of that one, as Soupy's got to hold it back from the referee. And again, like you said, that's a big penalty, because now you're short-handed for the rest of regulation. So now you got to pull one out of your hands. And like you said, you pulled the goalie for the empty net and the extra skater, but it's still 5-on-5, so it doesn't really do all that good. So now the Bucks going to have to come back. They've had miracle comebacks before. It would be the first time. Now quickly out of the zone. Wolf Talby around the defense. Has it. Right point. Wolf Talby fires it. Rebound comes out in the slot. Flipped up in the air. That was one of the better chances the Bucks have had tonight. To the blue line. Linesman gets taken down. Comes near side Julio. They're leaving Phillips in the net. Vinny slides it down low. Wrapped around the boards. It's going to be controlled by Jacobs. Defensive end for the Jackalopes. The Bugs right off the faceoff. Try to get a chance. 64 seconds to go. Up ahead, brought in over the line. Here's Jacobs down the slot, shoots, and that one's turned aside by Phillips. Final minute. Bucks got to go here. Pusateri into open ice for Hoagland. Hoagland leaves it back for Owen Case. Right circle, banks off the wall. Evan can't corral it cleanly. Glove down by Remy. Phillips off for the extra skater. Remy gets knocked down trying to draw a call. Not going to get it from the referee as Toms will wrap it around the far corner. Goaltender is off for the extra skater. So we're 5-on-5, 36 seconds to go. Third period, Bucks trail by a goal. Far side, Earhart takes a body shot that time. Comes out, and now the open net. Here's Caden Giossi. He shoots, and he scores. And it's 2-0 Odessa, and the Jackalopes are going to take 2 points here on this Friday night. And we're tied up in the standings in 5th place. It's 2-0 with 26 seconds to go. Got it just about for the bow on this one for the Bucks. Caden Giossi is 24th goal of the year, his 2nd point of the day. As the Bucks give up the empty net goal here, and now we're going to see referees talking to the linesman here about something. We'll see what that is with 26 seconds left.
And it looks like on the goal, on the Caden Giossi goal there, it'll be not only Caden Giossi, obviously on the empty net, but Jeremy Jacobs will get the assist. So it'll be Gihossi's 24th goal of the year, and Jeremy Jacobs 37th. So, wow. A lot to think about going into tomorrow night.
Face off at center. Birchfield takes a big hit at the blue line, gets knocked down. That's going to almost cause all heck to break loose. Now a delayed call upcoming, and now away from the plate, Tremblay getting swung at by a Jackalope who dropped his stick, didn't drop his gloves, and now everybody's going to get tied up right in front of the Jackalopes bench. Willie got grabbed, and also is Mitchell Reed, and then grabbing a hold of Loveland. He's actually going after two Jackalopes rather, is Charlie Birch. He's trying to go around the linesman to get after somebody. He's been introduced well to the Dirty South. He's going to get pushed away by the linesman. And we'll see what comes of this with 13 seconds left. Referee going to take a few players here as Willie got tied up. Couldn't tell who he was mixed up with whoever it was for the Jackalopes. He dropped his stick trying to fight Willie, and Willie was having no part of that. So it looks like the Bugs are going to end up on a power play, but down 2 goals with 13 seconds. Not even our Miracle Boys in purple and teal can pull this one off, most likely. So, Ozone draw. I'd love to see him get a goal here. Let the fans throw the Mudbugs on the ice. They haven't been able to do so in 48 days.
Shea Berry is going into the box for the Jackalopes, and honestly, after he gets out, he'll just have a nice walk right on up to the locker room there. So, Shea Berry, 2 minutes on the board for him, and looks like the call will be roughing, so we'll end that on a power play, but
maybe that was his plan. He wanted a shorter walk. See that? Heads up play. Ozone draw for the Bugs with 13.5 seconds. Hoagland right side, offensive zone. Phillips is down for the extra skater. Tied up to the wall. Bugs swing it back to the blue line. Adams into open ice. Grayson fires one, that's turned aside, 7 seconds to go. Odessa will rifle it down the board. They clear it down towards the empty net, whistles wide, but sure, and that's going to do it. Now Semengo sending a cross-check the way of the Jackalope. He gets a slash back as he'll stare down a Jackalope, and linesman will step in and grab Semengo, push him away, and the Jackalopes take 2 points tied, and now they're tied with the Bugs for that 6th and final playoff spot here. 2-0 the final score. Jacobs gets the goal that broke open the scoring in the empty net for GOC. Makes it 2-0 after 60 minutes here on this Friday night from George's Pond. So the Bugs don't get the result they wanted on the scoreboard, but nonetheless, they got the shot totals. They, at times, or actually for most of the game, kind of dominated now, and again, just coming up a little bit short on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and as the Bucks wait to salute these great fans who have waited 48 days to see them. 48 days, I add, and this might be a little bit of a biased perspective, but the Bucks have some of the most loyal fans in this division, and it's probably going to get me called out somewhere, but it's the truth. 48 days, and you have this amount of fans come out in the support they did. Yes, the scoreboard didn't read it the way we wanted to read. But more importantly, Zach, tomorrow night, it's just going to get hotter and hotter as part of this weekend. While I'm here, I'm looking at some scores. Corpus Christi and Oklahoma, they're in overtime. So whoever comes out of that will get 1 point, but just an interesting turn of events here tonight, Zach. The Bugs fall 2-0 after a tight first and second period. Tomorrow night, claws and paws night. A lot of dogs in the building, and I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of dogs on the ice, Zach, if you catch my drift.
Absolutely. 3 periods in the books here tonight. Bugs drop the homecoming to George's Pond. 2-0 to the Odessa Jackalopes. Our Nicky's wrap-up show on the other side of the break on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Well, the homecoming for the Bugs after 48 days did not treat them the way they wanted on the scoreboard. 2-0 the final in favor of the Odessa Jackalopes as the Bugs dropped this one here tonight. And again, close game. They actually outshot the Jackalopes 37-30. And just two goals for the Jackalopes. First one on the power play. Jeremy Jacobs from Graves and Giosi. That's at the 13:49 mark of the third period. That was on a giveaway in front of the net on the power play. And Phillips had a tough time corralling it after the turnover right in front of him. And then Caden Giosi, the empty netter, also on the power play at 26 seconds. So 2 for 2 in the third period on the man advantage for Odessa. And again, they take this one 2-0, but a great effort by the Bugs throughout the first two periods. The third period, they got a little bit better of them, but overall, again, haven't played in this building in 48 days, Duncan. Great crowd on hand to watch them, supporting the guys, and they came out with some great energy this evening.
Absolutely, just a great energy overall from this Bugs team, and I get the feeling that somewhere there are some people who are saying this team might be a little on the mediocre side, but you have to think about it for a second. This playoff race is far from over, and by no means does this team just give up as easily as some other teams might, or even some teams in hockey elsewhere might. This team is going to fight to the bitter end, Zach, and I do mean the bitter end, but nonetheless, Zach, 2-0 in favor of the Jackalopes, and third period got a lot more intense and chippy in terms of penalties. Of course, some of the names here: Vinny Giulio, Jared Greiner, Gabe Pankratz for the Jackalopes, Duke Gerhard, Chase Akriski, and Shea Berry to end us here. But just an interesting overall night as we come back home for the next 3 weeks. And of course, as we were heading into break, I mentioned the Corpus Christi Ice Race and Oklahoma Warriors game is in overtime. That has now ended in the overtime period. The game's not over, but the overtime period has ended. So it will go to a shootout. So we'll have to see where things lie. And speaking of the rest of the North American Hockey League South Division, our friends, and again, I love to use that term loosely. Let's take a look at some of those scores real quick. Of course, as mentioned, Bugs dropped this one 2-0 to the Odessa Jackalopes. New Mexico 2-1 over the Amarillo Wranglers. So far, I believe their game is just now ending. So the Ice Wolves will take that one over the Amarillo Wranglers. Of course, the first goal in the first period came from Stanley Hubbard at 9:03. Ty Azadi for the Wranglers, count them tied up. Then Oscar Edberg sealed the deal for the New Mexico Ice Wolves. And then our friends, and I even use that even looser, the Lone Star Brahmas. Oh, wow, okay. 3-0 in favor of the El Paso Rhinos. Camden Kaiser, Gage Giblin, first period goals, and Chase Nitre with a second period goal. Okay, that's interesting. But we've seen Lone Star get, split, drop one, and the next night, well, we know what happens. But that's just a quick look at the rest of the South Division. Now, standings-wise, as we mentioned, the Jackalopes will tie the Bugs on points. However, However, tiebreaker-wise, the Mudbugs will actually go down one because, well, actually, no, I take that back. Even though the Jackalopes do have the tiebreaker, the Bugs have 2 games in hand over the Odessa Jackalopes, so the Bugs will stay in 6th place. That's a good thing. However, they will stay solidly in 6th place because, well, Oklahoma, as I mentioned, still in overtime with the Corpus Christi Ice Race. The overtime period is now, as I mentioned, over, and the shootout's getting ready to get underway there at the Blazers Ice Center there, just outside Oklahoma City. So after everything gets laid out, we'll see where everything lays, Zach. And, well, actually, speaking of which, Zach, that is all for me. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Do good. Be good. As always, claws up. Go Bugs. Zach, send us on home.
That's a big series in El Paso. The Rhinos are only a few points back of the Brahmas, which is crazy to think how long the Lone Star's been in first place. So that's a big series. This is a big series, and the Bugs will return to action tomorrow night with a chance at redemption to try to take 2 points back from the Jackalopes. 7:11 p.m. puck drop will be on the air just like tonight for Orlando's warm-up show at 6:50. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight on the Mudbugs Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by our friends at Nikki's Mexican Restaurant. Don't drink the water. Try our margaritas today. They're also the host of our Fireplace Specialties Coaches Show Wednesday night at 6 p.m. So we'll see you out there at Nikki's. With this game, the Mudbugs now drop to 19-18, 3-4 overall, 8-9, 1-1 at home. Ethan Phillips takes the loss. He'll drop to 3-6-1 on the year. He had some big saves and stopped 35 of 37, but it's just not enough as the Bugs offense doesn't support him. And the Bugs drop this one 2-0 here on this Friday night to the Odessa Jackalopes. Again, on the air tomorrow, 6:50. Be sure to join us, or if you're not, you can join us right here at George's Pond. Tickets.georgespond34.com, and you can book your group tickets for 10 or more at just $10 each. Call the front office, 318-636-7094. They'll be happy to help you out there. On behalf of Duncan Walker and the rest of the team here at the Shreveport Mudbugs, Zach Grant on his homecoming, saying so long and good night. The final once more is the Jackalopes 2 and the Bugs nothing. Good night and good hockey from Shreveport.